Hopefully you're not flying on a Boeing. That's a topical joke. That's arguably controversial. Shouldn't have brought that up. I'm sorry for bringing up Boeing, everybody.
Unless you're scared of flying to begin with, then good luck thinking about that.
I'm just afraid that they might confuse me for a whistleblower and we won't be able to play anymore. Anyways,
Once again, you're thinking people care more about Canada than we do.
Why did my door just explode inwards?
the Pinkertons. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, we wrapped up a side adventure, as far as I recall, which I think went really well. But who cares what I remember? What do you guys remember? What did we get up to?
Let's see if I can.
I'm busy torturing a racist axe.
And you've got Buddy now. Shield Defender.
Oh yeah, buddy.
Oh, that's right. I know what we did.
Yeah, we were supposed to get him tricked out for the ball too.
He's totally badass, by the way.
I know, I love him.
So yeah, it was Hargrim's brother, then into the tomb. The tomb had the golems, which we handled one at a time. We forced one and then killed the other. And then we pulled the lever and all those guys were out there, which we just did some AoE shit and took them out pretty easily.
Yeah. And then
found the orc defender, or the sentient weapon that wants to kill all orcs. And didn't Jex promise to destroy it?
I think, if I recall, you guys argued for an alternative to not destroy it, but keep it in your safekeeping.
I think that was Jex's initial argument, but I'm pretty sure he agreed to destroy it. Jex, what say you?
I can't remember if he was lying or not.
I seem to remember that the lady said it was okay as long as we protected it or something.
Also, Jex, don't you know that if you break a promise you made during Pillow Talk, you will be cursed for 69 years?
Hey, it just means I have to live that long. It was either destroy it or keep it someplace safe. I think I was gonna destroy it and just throw it in the lava pits down in the fire temple. But we really need the money, so I don't know.
Yeah, but I think the argument was, dude, you're an orc and it wants to kill orcs. And then you were like, oh yeah, you're right.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to put it in an orc bar, so we could all just make fun of it.
I like to think there's an icy conversation happening in like the tower smoking room.
Like, do we torture the axe for a while and then destroy it? Do we sell it to some rich people who won't let anyone ever touch it and it'll just sit in a museum and orcs will laugh at it? It's debatable.
I think it was entrusted to you, though. Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Was it? I thought I might have grabbed it.
Well, yeah, it wouldn't let Jex handle it, would it?
No.
I thought I passed the check for that. Like, I couldn't attune it or anything, but it couldn't get away from me.
Yeah, it couldn't exert its will over you.
Right, that's right.
It does make itself heavier in your hands. You just like, if you guys have been like playing with it since you got back to the tower, Jex, you have sort of like It's not so severe as like a Mjolnir situation, but it does give you disadvantage on your attacks just because it makes itself so it like dead weights itself, right? When you're trying to use it.
It plays dead. That's hilarious.
Did we find any other magical items? There might have been some gold and stuff in there, but I think the primary thing was the sentient weapon.
Yeah, the axe was a big thing.
I'm chiming in because this brain. We got a +1 greatsword. We got an amulet. That's the amulet that Jex got. We got a ring of cold resistance, an orc splitter, and we revived the charismatic hobgoblin fighter.
Oh yeah, we brought him to his mama, and she rezzed him, right?
Yeah.
That is true. Speaking of mamas, Hargrim has suddenly been saddled with an unexpected familial complication.
Mm.
So this one may be a bit more prepared for than the last one.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you for extrapolating on that.
I didn't know. Okay. Brother's good. He's visiting home with us. Pretty sure. I thought.
Yeah, he is.
Exactly.
Yes. Sorry, as Galdor.
Yeah.
It's a different G name that's in another game that I was running the other day. Kept on like coming up. I was like, it's not that guy. It's a different name. So I had to double check how to pronounce Galdor. You brought Galdor back to the tower, and your mother, so your mom is a pretty hardy lady, yeah. She has told you in confidence she doesn't really like living in the tower. Not that she's ungrateful, right? But it is up in the sky, hanging over the ocean.
Why do you need my passport?
And she's more used to having her feet kind of solidly on the ground, right? She feels like she'll get too close to a window, get sucked right out, and float away. That said, though, your mom has become extremely popular with the staff that you guys have been slowly accumulating. Because your mom can't help herself, right? Mrs. Halfbane has been, you all realize as you come back from this misadventure, she has started like making people tea and coffee, baking cookies, giving people advice and being like she's your mom. She has started becoming kind of everybody's mom. So your base, as long as Mrs. Halfbane is living there, has a new bonus. Before leaving the tower, you guys can take with you each 1d4 worth of half Bane cookies.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So half Bane cookies, they only one cookie can give you the beneficial effects per day, besides the fact that they're delicious. But when you consume one of Mrs. Halfbane's cookies, you receive 5 temporary hit points. These do not stack with other sources of hit points. So Shabaz's Inspiring Leader, for example, would completely nullify the effects, but they are a consumable item that you can use in battle. So should you lose all your temporary hit points, that is a way for you to get 5 back by eating a cookie.
Will that be an action or a bonus action?
Same thing with healing potions. It's a bonus action for yourself. It is an action if you want to feed it to somebody else.
Oh yeah.
Because she doesn't believe in additives or preservatives overly much, by the time you return to the tower, no matter how much time has actually passed, the cookies will be stale and will not provide those bonuses anymore. So you can't hoard them.
Come on.
Damn.
With the right packaging.
I was gonna say something about temporal space inside of bags of holding, but I understand what Teddy's going for, so I wasn't going to.
Did we ever get that bag of cold or whatever? Right?
What?
Weren't we gonna get a bag of cold or something? Cold?
The bag of refrigeration.
Yeah.
Wait, no, it was a box of refrigeration. I think we were talking about
What?
a box of cold.
When was this?
Well, we can put the cookies in.
Oh boy.
Either way, it's something about manifest zones. You know, it's something magic. I wouldn't worry about it too much. When you start thinking about it too much, your heads start to hurt. All you need to know is that when you leave with Mom's cookies, they're delicious until you go home. And then you're only left with the thought of, I should have ate these while we were out there. This also applies to your hirelings, by the way.
And we only get one?
You get a D4
D4.
worth of them.
Sweet.
Ooh. My hireling's really gonna like that because he gets his proficiency bonus for all temporary hit points.
Man knows how to eat a cookie. It's from working in the restaurant business.
This is not good.
That said, you've known for a while, Hargrim, that Mama Halfbane has not been particularly thrilled living in this tower. She'd like to get a better apartment closer to the ground, but these complaints have sort of been like in confidence, right? She just feels like it's a bit much up here in high water.
I feel like I'd just keep telling her next week for sure, and then the following week comes.
Well, there's no rush. I do feel safe here, knowing that you and your friends are handling things, but so
Say the
when
word,
you
ma'am, and
sorry?
I'll blow the Boromar out of the Earth Temple.
Oh, you shouldn't. You're a kind young man, but don't go working for those rascals. Don't go messing around with them. Oh, she wouldn't say working for her. Well, maybe she did as like a little bit of like a slip But these are all conversations that would have happened, over the past couple of weeks. When you return, you bring Galdor with you. And she's kind of stunned in sort of like the common room. She's kind of
Oops.
not sure what she's looking at. And like Galdor is like sort of like holding his hat in front of him, sort of like ringing the ring of it. You told the dead, Galdor?
He's not injured.
Galdor is just like, hey, Ma. Which is wildly understated, considering the situation. And Hargum, your mom's eyes start getting like wet, and her like lips tremble, and she.
I leave the room. Yeah.
Well, she says, "Oh, Hargrim, you brought him home. You brought your baby brother home."
Yeah. Yeah, I did. Figured it was about time.
Your mom approaches, a smile on her face, and she will give you a kiss on the cheek. And Galdor opens up his arms for a hug, eyes downcast, a little bit ashamed. Then your mom slips off her slipper and starts beating him. And then there's a string of dwarven expletives as Galdor's Ma, yeah, please.
Get a cheer. Yep. Now, you know what? I'll take my boot off and join her.
So, what brings a family together than a little bit of casual violence?
Is this family only? He did break my CC.
Get in here.
Yeah, I'm in there too. I'm just open hand slapping him though.
This is cruel and unusual. We're gonna skip a little bit ahead in time. And Mrs. Halfbane, Mama Halfbane. And so after Hargrim got into a little bit of trouble on Galdor's behalf here, all the rumors were saying that the Boromar had tracked him down out near Rote, and well, I grieved for a long time. But my son here, our eldest, you always held out faith, didn't you, Hargrim?
Well, I've recently learned that it's impossible to kill a half-bane. So,
Galdor is like nursing. He's like grumbling and like tenderly poking at like this lump that somebody's shoe had put on his brow. And he's sort of like, y'all really tested that, didn't you?
it could have been worse.
In fact, it turned out a lot better.
Gross.
We have no more ties to the Boromar, not financially anyway. Did you know, Galdor, that your brother's a hero now? I've been reading it in the papers. And sure enough, sorry?
I wouldn't say a hero. It's more these guys. Point to the rest of them awkwardly standing there, I would assume.
There's a newspaper called the Eye that's on the coffee table, and it reads, the headline reads, Brack team of heroic adventurers led by House Orion save lower wards.
Okay, I know me and Shabazz like candies, but crack team, really?
There's an artist's rendition, right? It's like an eidetic memory sketch, right? That is like the equivalent of like a photograph on the front, and there's just like from the perspective of like the lower wards, there is a you can spot like a winged man who you can like too far away to really identify as Theo. But you know, there's a winged man going after what appears to be a Tyrannosaurus Rex plummeting from the sky. And very proudly, Mama Halfbane points at the T-Rex and looks at Geldor. That's him. That's your big brother. And Geldor's looking at you, Hargrave, like, what the fuck?
Oh yeah,
That's
I
a
remember
story.
that day.
Yeah. Yeah. Big body, little brain. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Right, well, what was it like being a dinosaur?
Yeah. I felt pretty strong, but like I said, there wasn't a whole lot of thought process, I don't think, that I can remember.
Right, but what was it like being a dinosaur?
Right. Yeah.
Your mom's gonna hit him with a slipper again. Ow.
You know, since you're both right here, you could do have some other news that I was upset to find out about recently. The dear old dad is kicking. So there's that.
So Geldor's jaw is a little bit agape. What? You talk to Dad? And your mom, who is just like quietly like sipping her tea, unflappable, right? Not a crack in her voice, just completely calmly, just pats you on the knee. You shouldn't be messing too much with ghosts who don't need your time, dear.
Yeah. I threatened him and he ran away, but that's fine.
Oh, that sounds like him. Best thing he did was provide me you two boys. Everything past that, well, that's a mistake on me.
One of us, maybe. Yeah.
Well, at least Galdor came back. With some strong arming, of course, but... Oh, look at him, Harry. He's sorry, aren't you? Yes, Ma, I am. Feeling pretty sorry. That's my Dory dumpling. She's gonna pat him on the knee, too. Would anybody else like some more tea?
Yes, please. Thank you.
She'll pour you some tea. She makes a good spot of tea. Admittedly, you're not like Arcanics definitely favors more of the elvish drinks. This dwarven tea is not too bad. It's earthy. That shouldn't be any surprise. It is also served with a whiskey chaser.
Mhm.
Theo kind of. It's quite. I'm not quite used to the dwarven drinks. Whew.
Keep drinking that; it'll put hair on your nuts.
I'll stick to my my halfling gin. Thank you very much.
Just my nuts, though, right?
Some grooves on the boulders, your grandpa used to call it.
Yeah, sorry, Shabazz. I don't think it'll bring back the hair on your head.
I'm not sorry. I was just making sure, and then I'll down it.
Well, it's possible. Just an instant afro pops up.
It's like, whoop, whoop. No.
But very short and curly.
Well, you did above and beyond what anyone could have expected for you, Harry. Thank you for bringing Galdor home.
Can't take all the credit. Wouldn't have made it very far without all these guys.
No, I didn't mean to suggest I was ungrateful to your friends. You're all very kind for putting us up.
Don't let him out humble you. The wall will not fall.
The wall won't fall.
Yeah, okay.
Ah, yes.
Unless there's a sea hag.
Yeah, then I just stand there.
I mean, water is causes erosion.
Well, I'm the king of the sea now. The trident. So.
I think I missed a lot. Oh, yes. Hargrim's been on a great many adventures with his friends.
I got gills. See?
I've been meaning to ask about that, son. Are you feeling okay?
Other than the gills, yeah.
Oh, well, perhaps we'll go to a Teresco healing house one of these days and get that checked out. Especially if it's causing you discomfort.
It's kind of neat. Just a little weird.
Is that a barnacle?
No. Is it a barnacle?
I'm gonna leave that up to you.
Yeah, I'll pick it off quick.
Ugh.
Are we still telepathically connected?
Yeah, of course.
Eat it.
Yeah, of course.
Eat it. Come on, eat it.
No, I'm not gonna eat it.
No stones.
Eat it.
I'm not gonna eat it.
Oh, Galdor, I'd also recommend that you brush up on your KSL. And Galdor's gonna look at his mom for a moment, like what the hell are you talking about? And then is gonna have a look of realization, look over towards Shino. and look back and like, wait, that's for serious? That's a for real thing? Don't be rude. KSL standing for Corvair Sign Language, by the way.
Oh. You know, I'm just gonna change this tag. Because I am smooth brain.
Maybe it's GSL, like Galifar Sign Language.
It is. Because you've given me this.
Galifar, right? Corvair is the continent, not the.
Yep.
Right. In any case, yeah, close enough. Your pre-adventure debriefing is very pleasant. Your mom is very excited that Galdor is home, you know, after the initial mushy emotional stuff. She will cook. She will insist, even though you have a staff. Hargrim, what is your favorite meal?
Oh, hearty beef stew.
Barnacles.
No, it's not barnacles.
You are all treated to a hearty, delicious beef stew with some fresh baked Moor buns. The Moor holds is where the majority of dwarves on the continent live. It's the headquarters of House Kundarak and all that. So Moor buns are a type of dwarven bun, which even when fresh are kind of dwarves like to joke. Be careful when you're eating more bread, you might chip a tooth. As far as anyone is aware, that's never actually happened, but it is a very dense bread. But that kind of makes it perfect for stew. And the group of you have a rather lovely evening. And Hargrim, your mom likes to put on a brave face a lot of the time. Right? She's a rather stoic person, but like mom stoic, where usually like she tries not to let a lot bother her, and like she raised you in the lower wards, right? So there's a lot of her personality where she puts on a smile and a brave face and stuff to help deal with the fact that like some days there wasn't enough food for everybody. Like, you know, like growing up, there were some nights like after your dad had at the time presumably died, where there was like a period where you and Galdor legitimately thought that your mom really enjoyed fish heads. Like, you guys live on the coast, right? So seafood is pretty big and easy to get access to. You thought that fish heads for a long time, like in your youth, was something your mom really liked. It's not. Your mom does not like fish heads, but she is the type of lady that when, you know, silver was a little tight, right? She made sure that you and your brother got the choicest cuts. And she, working, you know, 2 jobs, would take what's left to make sure that you lads were getting the nutrients you need. So, it's a rare occurrence for you to see your mom this expressive and genuinely happy. So, for bringing your brother back home, I would like for you to take an inspiration. Um, and you may add your mother's happiness to your inventory. Because what greater treasure is there? I'm kidding. It's going to be money. You guys are going to get money. But you have made your mom happy. Which I'm guessing is important to Hargrim.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. He won't admit it, but it is.
After all the fighting you guys have been through, all the wild twists and turns, is this a pleasant evening for you guys, or is it a little bit anxiety inducing? Like, because we are talking about, like, she sets up like a whole dinner, right? And there's a good number of you, including like all the staff and stuff. Like she spends a day like cooking. It almost feels like a holiday dinner almost. And there's like the tower, the headquarters you guys picked. There's a table like long enough to accommodate most everybody. It considering that the cults are still active and still have access to the manifest zones under Shard, with two prophets still in operation. How does like those thoughts interact with this sort of surreal calmness and wholesome family scene where like a few days ago you guys were stepping through like the bloodied and burnt bodies of cultists and hobgoblin mercenaries? Where are we at?
I don't know, something about life on the streets is you always see bodies, so you gotta take these happy moments as you can get them and not worry about anything else, I guess.
That's fair.
I think Theo was, just kind of enjoying kind of calm before the storm type of thing. Like he knows it's there, but he's just trying to take it for what it is and just enjoying the moment of peace.
Yeah. Argrim seeing everybody that he cares about in one place, happy and eating and smiling and talking, is allowing himself to just forget about the other stuff for a little bit.
Any anxiety or worry that Shabazz might have about that would probably dwindle away in the presence of everyone. Feeling pretty powerful at this point, I think. And even though the danger exists, seeing the group of everybody here together, he's feeling pretty confident.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Sorry, go ahead.
Nope, that's it.
I think that brings us to Shino, right?
Yes. I'm gonna say she's homesick because Hargrim's mom made a nice big old meal for her, and that makes her think about her folks back home.
Kino, who I imagine is sitting next to you, sort of like squeezes your hand. That twin connection, that twin empathy. What does Shino see when, like, Hargrim? You tell me, what kind of like vibe does she get off of? Because it's no secret that you and Shino are pretty close at this point.
Yeah, apparently not.
Mhm.
What? It's news to me.
What does like Shino, who'd have a vested interest in sort of visually checking in with you, what kind of vibe would she be able to pick up just by watching, like, interact like with the table and your general outward energy?
Oof, and like I said, he's actually like genuinely pretty happy right now. So I guess it's kind of in a joking and chatty, more chatty than usual. Maybe smiling more than anybody's seen in a while. So
How's that making Shino feel?
Probably less so. I mean, still like wanting to see her family, but also like happy and content with how things happened as they did now, coming to the big city with the housey boy and meeting a revolving door of people until finally settling with the people we have now. It's very comforting that she can like find a second family.
You're gonna catch some movement under the table. Your sister is signing at you, and she is going to ask, a dwarven plebeian, really? I got you, huh?
Yes. I'll just tell her like this is kind of the hand that was dealt, and I'm just rolling with it.
Kino is gonna sort of like roll her eyes.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you guys have a very pleasant evening, and you wake up the next day refreshed. The next day, or over the next couple of days, a few things start to happen. In particular, Galdor gets in contact with his employer. He follows up on that lead with the hobgoblin that you delivered to his mom. And so you guys, if you wish, get an opportunity to meet with. You guys get the opportunity to meet with the real Garrosh. He has it just as cleanly shaved as his doppelganger counterpart presented him to be. But you did technically rescue him, and you did discover what he was aiming to discover, making for a very successful archaeological expedition. He only wishes he could have been there, and he apologizes ever so much for getting all of you involved in the way that you did. Galdor reintroduces himself by his proper name. And Garrosh looks at him. Oh, don't you worry about that, Galden. I believe that's what you introduced me as before. And Galdor says, absolutely not, and that's not. Don't even worry about it. So Garrosh is going to pay your party. 5,000 gold. In exchange for all of your work and rescuing him. It is technically 6,000. Galdor's taking his share. But he will say, I will pay an additional 10,000 for the legendary axe if you're willing to sell it.
Those are rookie numbers.
Uh, 1050.
What would you?
Swagger away.
What would you do with it? Well, what would he do with it? That'd be my question.
10,100. Oh, I would ensure that it returns to the Roar Holds and would put it in a museum. Part of Corvarian history. A crack team of archaeologists and specialists and historians would love to pick it apart and analyze it and uncover its historical value and secrets.
How do you feel about orcs?
How do I feel about orcs?
Yeah.
Well, fine folk, I guess. I've only met a few, but you seem like a nice fellow.
I think his brain is too squishy.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The axe would own you, not the other way around. I don't think you could handle it.
I wouldn't intend to use it. I'm a pacifist.
What's a pussy fest?
What was that? It doesn't matter. So I am a man of intellectual inquiry. I leave the fighting to those who are much more adept at that sort of thing. Why, I avoided my first hand axe a whole 10 years before I was supposed to pick it up and start practicing my swings.
It's not that simple. I don't know if I want to tell him it's sentient, but it's not that simple.
11,000.
I think it's a Jack's call. You're the one that made the promise. So
Out of game, I want to know how you guys feel about it because Jex, like I said, unless y'all really want the money, he would not sell it.
Well, then sounds like we're not selling it.
I mean, I just wanted to make sure y'all were cool with that big of a chunk of change not getting taken just because of my character, but I appreciate it.
No, I think that if there was a sentient weapon out there that wanted to wipe out my race, I wouldn't be cool with it.
Vanilla Module presents it as a lawful good weapon. It still fucking blows my mind.
No, if it were wiping out gnomes, that'd be different.
yeah, or like the goblin splitter or something. You know, nobody cares about goblins, but
Garrosh is willing to go up to 12,001 gold for the purposes of like. I feel like it's fair with that much scratch online. That maybe you would, as a party, want to be like a brief recess, Garrosh, as we discuss things.
I think if we kind of take everyone aside, I mean, if we can guarantee that it's not going to be used and say put in a collection or something like that, then I see no reason getting rid of it.
I mean, this thing has talked to us already. I just think he's too weak-willed. Even if he never intends violence, I think it would still get him.
He doesn't give a fuck about the sword. He cares about the party afterwards, so... We know this
Word.
about the guy. He just wants the fucking acclimates and shit, so...
Yeah, just to boost the reputation.
Does
Plus, he's a cleanly shaven dwarf.
he is a cleanly shaven dwarf. What if Shino or Shabazz, do either of you have a remove curse?
If anyone, it would be Shabazz.
I do not.
And I don't think this is a curse on Orcs. Cleric, Paladin, Warlock, or... Oh, wizards can get it. Oh, fuck me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I originally had it.
Well...
It's like Theo has studied at a university or something.
I think I might have looked over it because at the time Jax was a cleric.
You know what? Actually, that's what I'll tell the dude. As soon as you bring me a way of being able to break the sentience of a magic item, I'll sell you the ancient weapon.
The weapon's sentient?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's why I asked you if it hated how you felt about orcs and why I don't think your brain is squishy enough.
But that's fascinating. 15,000 gold.
deal.
Genocidal sentient axe wants to kill all orcs. Your brain is too squishy for how mean axe is.
I was starting to get into a mean place.
No, I'm just trying to be direct.
Oh, excuse me.
If you guys want to think of some other options, I would at this point call for an Arcana check. Actually, whoever wants to roll it, but you don't have to be proficient for this roll.
That's a Theo roll if I've ever seen one.
I'm good at Arcana too. It's sad.
I know, you rolled my modifier.
Yeah, so that 8 is we should dispel the thing. So it's not so much a failure; it is just the most obviously direct and efficient solution to this problem, right? Like it's not so much that you rolled a critical one because you didn't know; it's because you know the best answer anyways, as far as like how to deal with a problem like this.
Yeah.
So you're just like maintaining. Remove curse will just fix this problem.
I've never had a problem that hasn't been fixed by remove curse.
Wait, will it work? Remove curse work?
Or is it dispel magic? Either way.
Both third level spells.
Well, I don't. I know I don't have remove curse, so that's why I was asking.
Jax, you actually realize that there is another way that you could destroy this weapon and get some benefit out of it at the same time. Um, Jax has a secret bonus that just edges out Shino. Um,
Huh.
Shino, you did roll very good, so you will be able to. When Jax shared this, you'd be able to confirm, like, yeah, that would absolutely be able to work. Jax, you remember Finn, your friendly artificer friend. As an artificer with the mark of making, you have heard that caniths are able to take magic enchantments off of certain magic items and apply them onto others. Now you don't know like the specifics, but like you could in theory, if you really don't care about the or are willing to sacrifice like the historical significance of this weapon, and just be like, do we want like a flaming sword or whatever effects Finn might be able to get off? Finn could just transfer them to a different item, effectively killing Orc Splitter.
What would he do with the removed things?
Put them on a different weapon.
Put it on my hammer.
Well, magic weapons that already have an enchantment are tricky, right? like this is something like we can like shift the scene to like a phone call or a meeting with Finn where he'd be like, on anything other than a basic enchanted magic weapon, right? It's very difficult to make that transfer. But if you just have a weapon that's like just magical without any other like extra specific enchantment, I could move some of this stuff to a different like vessel.
You have the.
It's +2. It's good.
Do you have
Could
the
you
pop
move
up
just
for?
the sentience part somewhere else?
Oh no, it would die in the process.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
So essentially, we are killing it. We're just moving some of the power to a different weapon.
There it is.
Oh, yeah, I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah, I'll even do it for free in this special case if the weapon is as nasty as you say it is.
Oh yeah, it's totally a dwittler.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way that we can finagle selling the useless weapon afterwards?
It's still a
Actually-
historical weapon. I would imagine the guy would still buy it.
He could probably still buy it because if he's just putting it on display, no one else needs to know it's weakened, air quotes, because just the appearance and the fact it exists is probably enough for most people.
Yeah, honestly, as long as it's not trying to convince everyone to kill all orcs, I'm down.
We might not get 15,000 from it, but
No,
Well-
as soon as it becomes less powerful of a magic weapon,
We could.
he's not going to pay as much for that. Sorry?
We could sell it to him for 15,000, then take it to a specialist, and then once we have the money, give him the sword, and then do a little magic mouth nonsense on it, and it'll talk to him.
are you saying Shabazz should deceive his way by saying we'll take the 15, but we'll hand deliver it to a location of his discretion because it is that dangerous of a weapon and we don't want it to leave our possession, aka we take it to Finn and make it weak?
I
Shino, you're a
mean,
genius.
None the wiser. It's a win-win situation. He gets a sword that can talk to him, and we come out walking out on the other side a few coin purses heavier.
Do we
'Cause-
is his offer, if it's not sentient, what his original offer was?
10K.
10K, yeah.
That's not bad.
Yeah, but it's 15 if it can talk.
It won't be able to talk. I thought once they.
Yeah, no, I know. What I'm saying is we should have Shabazz deceive,
Oh, I
do a
get you.
deception check, saying, "Yes, we'll take the 15K gold, but this weapon is entirely too dangerous for you to handle. So while it's in our possession, why don't we take it to wherever he wants us to take it to in his place? And then while we're taking it there, we stop by Finn's and make it less sentient, and then cast a magic mouth, saying, 'Oh yeah, fuck orcs,'
Yeah.
or something."
In the meantime, I can go learn Magic Mouth, and we can be on with our day.
Okay, this is Finn over the phone again. It's not gonna be that instant. That, like, it's a process, right? Artificery is a process. It'll take some time.
Well, we didn't tell him how long it would
I
take.
think 10K in neutering is fair. I think that's good. We have a decent reputation. We don't need to tank it now.
What's it do? We?
Also, like, we're kind of effectively killing it, but not really. You know what? It's close to like a lobotomy, is what I'd be doing to it.
Are we killing it, or is it? Is it truly alive? Do we really know that it's alive?
Do lithids have souls?
We're approaching a Descartian nightmare.
I feel like this is much to the argument of AI.
Oh no, I hope it's alive, and I hope it knows we're gonna lobotomize it.
I'm gonna chop your dick off. I'm gonna trim that handle.
Yeah.
You make that a short sword.
Is that what we're doing then?
Yes, Teddy. Sorry that took us so long to decide.
I'm just presenting options. What we do is up to you guys.
So, okay. So you agree on 10K. You just need a little bit more time with it. He was willing to flesh out, or he was willing to shell out 15K. So Garage is okay with that. And he asks you to meet him when you're done. In 12 pillars. You meet with Finn. Sorry.
So we sold it for 10, with the
Yeah.
knowledge of it being neutered.
Yes.
I mean, I guess it depends on whether or not you guys decide to tell him honestly, or Shabazz roll a deception check.
I think where I stand on it is, it's 5K is really not that much, especially when we know we've got 50K coming from Spellbook. Did we forget about that?
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of gold coming into us, and I think that we could actually use it. This guy is a known archaeologist, right? He's pretty well known.
Yeah.
I mean, it could help our reputation to be, hey, they found it, they killed it, here it is, and where we're not even risking. I mean, I can lie the fuck out of everything, really, but I don't think that we have to here, you know?
I do agree with Shabazz, honestly.
Okay.
My brother, reputations online and ours.
Okay.
And I do plan on lying the fuck out of everything at the ball, so I want to find some fucking rich fuckers at the ball to be lying to.
Fair
I
enough.
think there's money at the ball.
Right. So that's a total of 15K. 10 for the weapon, 5 for the service. That cash will change hands.
Sorry, was that on top of 1,000 for saving him too?
Oh, he paid you
Yes.
5,000 for saving him.
But we
Oh.
each got 1,000.
Yeah, so that's like a total of 15K that you got from him from this entire transaction.
So that would be 3,000 each.
Yes, indeed.
So close.
So when you meet with Finn, Finn explains, yeah, it'll take a little bit. It'll take me about 4 days, I think. But I can nullify some of the magic, and I can also remove the higher thinking of the intelligence inside, and I can transfer the flame magic from this weapon to another, as well as the protection from fear. I am, for moral reasons, not going to transfer the other magical effects that this weapon seems to have.
Okay.
So we'll just let that die with the thing.
Fair enough.
I'll just remove those.
Okay. That's what I was wondering about. I was like, if he removes it, does he then have to put it into something else, or can it just be like, here is this thing we don't like, destroy?
No, yeah, I can just get rid of it. Sure.
I mean, if you guys are okay with it, I wouldn't mind it in the glaive, just as a fire option.
All right, it's got to be a mundane magical.
Yeah, any +1 or +2, whatever. You guys do have that greatsword as well.
Yes, we did get a +1 greatsword. I'm assuming.
Shabazz has no interest in weapons, so
Can
I'm
we
all
put it?
I'm cool with Hargrim having it if he wants it.
Can we put it on your net?
My net does no damage at all.
Does make it do damage?
It would technically make the net do 2d6 fire damage.
It would be better fit for someone who my net is a secondary option, so
Okay.
he would get more use out of it, I believe.
I'm assuming the longsword I have is not a candidate.
The longsword. Wait, does your longsword? Yeah, it's a dragon slayer sword, right?
Yeah, it glows when dragons are nearby and stuff.
Yeah, if it already has a magical effect, then Finn won't be able to do it. It has to be kind of like a blank slate, right?
I have a
That's
small
what I thought.
knife.
Oh, did you? So if it has a magical effect, the +1s don't count then? Or
Oh, yeah, like so what +1 represents is that is the most basic sort of equipment enchantment, which allows you to eventually put on other magical enchantments. Like you need to do that first. So it needs to be a plus weapon, right, of some kind, but it can't do anything else beyond that. So Drown and Windvane, for example, cannot gain the benefits. But like a +1 dagger, +1 glaive, all of those things can.
Now, here's a question. Theo, what's
Yeah.
your main weapon of choice now that you've been fighterized?
Well, right now I'm carrying a short sword and shield. I'm still
Oh,
a
you're gonna have
spell
Wind
slinger
Vane.
though. But yeah, I have Windvane.
I kind of want to shoot fire, but I understand if Lily wants it too.
It does have to be a melee weapon. That's one of the restrictions.
Oh, okay. You didn't say that earlier. My bad.
Pardon me. That's on me. But yeah, it does have to be a melee weapon. Just kind of like what it does is it turns a melee weapon into a flame tongue. Right? Like that's mechanically what's happening here.
Does it require attunement, or is it just a 2d6 damage raider?
It will require attunement.
Mm.
I mean, I've got a small knife which could be considered a dagger.
Gotta be magical. +1.
It has to. It can't just
Yep.
be innate. Okay.
Yeah. Now, for a fee, Finn can turn a mundane weapon into a +1 weapon. He can turn it into a +2 weapon if you have enough cash.
I have a +1 rapier if anybody wants to use it. Like, I don't need it. If you want to turn it into a magical weapon and use it, it exists.
Like, yeah, that'll work. Glaive, rapier, greatsword.
Rapier might be good because it's finessable, so anyone can really use it.
And I mean, if push comes to shove, we can always just sell it.
That's what I was just about to say. Does he think he could sell the enchantment to someone else for us?
Yeah, if you guys aren't interested in it, I can definitely sell it. Flame tongues are valuable weapons.
Hargrim wants it, though, doesn't he?
Well, I was just gonna say it depends on how much Hargrim's gonna go with the glaive versus use trap.
Well,
benefits.
I think it's
totally up to Hargrim.
I think it's the attunement restriction for Hargrim.
I'm only 2K away from my next attunement slot.
All right. Do
But
you want me to?
if you guys want the money for it instead, that's cool. I was just gonna take it as having a fire option because I have drown with the cold, and then I got cob with just
Okay.
the door knocker.
Then do you want it on the glaive or do you want it on the greatsword? Because I can just loan you 2,000 right now, and we can, while we're at Finn's, you can get the +1 attunement, and we can just bang bang boom. Here's a new weapon for you.
What is the greatsword? I forget. Greatsword's damages.
Greatsword is 2d6 slashing, heavy, two-handed. So you'd be rolling 2d6 slashing and 2d6 fire.
Yeah,
which...
definitely. The sword would be a better option. The glaive's only a D5 or
I mean, it gives you reach, but
glaive does have reach, and it's
But
a
you're
D10.
also you'd also be re-rolling all 1s and 2s on those 2d6s.
Yeah, I think the glaive, or not the glaive, the greatsword is better for you specifically because of savage attacker.
It is also, remember, it's 4 days before we get the weapon too. It's not immediate.
Yeah.
Does Flame Tongue apply to using a butt bash from Polearm Fighter?
no, it only applies to the blade itself.
Great axe, great sword then.
Yeah. The glaive, all it's got going for it is reach right now.
Yep.
And if we need reach, we'll just make Hargrim bigger.
True.
I think we all have an option to do that at this point.
I'll have an option to do it when we level up.
Honestly, if we need Hargrim to have reach, I'll just haste him. Who needs reach when you can just run everywhere?
Yeah, if you guys are cool with it, I'd definitely do that. But if you prefer to sell it, that's fine too.
Well, it's either we sell it for probably some amount of gold, or I can just give you 2,000 gold, and we wait 4 days, and you now have a fire flame tongue greatsword.
Or we can throw down an extra 1,000 gold and get you a +1 of whatever weapon you would prefer, or just trade in.
That's also true. It's also true. We're not limited to a greatsword. We just happen to have a greatsword.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good greatsword.
You want to put it on a net?
Hey. Listen.
I'm just saying, I heard you could do that.
That would be pretty neat. But I'm not.
I just wanted you to have a cool fire net. Alright. My vote's the greatsword. For Hargrim. I'd rather have Hargrim have a flame tongue greatsword than to sell it. If I'm being honest.
I'm not gonna have it forever, I imagine either. So, or maybe I will.
I might be wrong with the math, but those, being how it's 2d6 instead of 1d12, and you have the great weapon fighter, when you crit too, like that's multiple chances to reroll all that damage. So I think the 2d6 weapon is probably better for the great fighter as opposed to anything else, because it gives you more opportunities to reroll damage.
Yeah.
Why don't we give it
Great.
to your brother?
No, he's fine. He'll be fine.
He doesn't have a magical weapon. Give him the rapier.
I'll give him the glaive.
Oh yeah, give him the glaive.
I'm gonna add the Flame Tongue Greatsword to Hargrim's inventory.
Ooh.
All right, then I will edit out the greatsword from party loop. So now that we've applied the flame tongue to this greatsword, could we? Could we also do the claw of the worm room shenanigans on this greatsword? If I'm remembering it correctly, how that works.
Yes, because of how giant runes work, you technically can.
Nice.
But know that I am DM sighing throughout this entire process.
Yeah.
Doing?
Huh?
What are you trying to do?
So the claw of the worm room, which we recently got, you can apply it to a weapon, and a dragon must succeed a DC 15 con save or gain vulnerability to all damage until the end of your next turn.
That's beautiful.
I mean, is a DC 15 con save against a dragon, they're more than likely going to pass. Legendary resistances be damned. But still.
This property can be used 3 times, conveniently as many times as most creatures with legendary resistance have legendary resistance. Interesting that. That said, yeah, Finn will get that set up for you. He's also more than willing to work on anything else you guys need.
How extensive is your surgery for that attunement slot? Do I need recovery time?
You might feel a little woozy for a couple days, but I feel like I'm pretty good at it.
Do you want to do it now? Now that we're here?
I just want, or I could do it when we come back to get it. I know.
Oh, we got the gala. Hey. Everything.
Yeah, I might as well just do it now while I'm here.
Okay, roll a Constitution saving throw. And spend that cash.
You need a 2,000, Margram?
Yeah. I think it's 10K, right? He said I have 8.
All right.
The surgery is also a circumcision.
I'm gonna use my inspiration on this to roll with advantage.
Didn't say which head we were cutting into.
Pretty good.
So Hargrim is claimed for the better part of a couple days. This is definitely some lower city Ripper Dock level shenanigans, because like Finn will take you to like the back of his workshop, Hargrim. And he's got like it looks like a dentist chair more than an operating table. It's like, go on, sit on in.
Boy.
And he will strap you down. And then he pulls out this like this leather cup looking thing attached to a hose, and he's just like, put this on there, buddy. And he'll put it on your face, and you start feeling woozy as like some gas hisses against your mouth, and eventually you fall asleep.
I'm gonna wake up without a kidney.
Yeah, so yeah, Finn and Hargrim are indisposed for the next 2 days. Hargrim, you do come into consciousness about like 8 hours later, but for a little while you don't really know where you are or what's happening. Your world is spinning. You recognize your friends, right? But you don't feel well, and your ability of perception is definitely in question. For the rest of you guys, Hargrim is writing that anesthetic. So Hargrim, for the next 2 days, you're kind of operating without a filter.
Thanks.
That said, Finn does have a potential upgrade for your gun, if you're interested, Jax. He's been working on something.
Ooh, okay, bet.
He'll charge you 3,500 for it, and that is with a friendly discount.
Didn't we just get 3 from everything?
Oh. Yeah, I did not account that into my.
So he calls it an elemental cartridge module.
Oh, bet.
What it does is once per day, or with the expenditure of a first level spell slot or higher, you can change the damage type of the bullets currently within your gun. When you reload the gun, those are still doing like piercing damage, right? But when you activate the cartridge, it converts the damage of all the bullets currently inside to fire or cold or acid or lightning.
Oh, bet. So for a first level spell slot or higher, I can change it to an elemental type.
Yeah. And once a day for free.
Oh, and once a day for free.
Recharges with a long rest.
And so basically, because it's a 6-shooter, one spell slot would be the 6 bullets in it, or just the one in the chamber?
The 6 bullets in it.
I bet I'll do it.
Okay, he'll get that set up for you.
I'm never gonna get that 50k.
There's
Well,
not an
so-
extra 1K for saving him. We had that's where there was 10K from the sword and 5K for saving him. So it's a total of 15K divided by 5 is 3K for everybody.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood. Well, goodbye, 1,000 gold.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I had some math to do
No.
out loud.
No, that's fine.
But I'm sorry too. Everybody do add. Make sure you add the 3K to your sheet if you haven't yet, because it's not going in the group. But you just add it now.
Yeah.
So Jex, you'll be able to get your gun back after the ball,
Oops.
after the party. That's when he'll be done with it. But it will allow you to change that damage type to charge those bullets. Hopefully, you guys won't encounter any combat at the ball, anyways.
I don't have a backup.
Yeah, take the +1 rapier.
You can have this glaive.
Oh no, the +1 rapier will look great with my ball outfit.
That's accurate.
Yeah, you can have it. Take it.
It's finessable. If anyone needs a finessable weapon, it's you.
True.
I'm deleting off my sheet, so.
+1 rapier for the Jexter. Would you like me to add that to your sheet? Oh, I see. It's already on there.
Oh, I was just punching it in. If you can do it faster. I was gonna do it manually, but I forget you can do the thing.
If you find it
I
in the
can do the thing.
in the compendium, you can just click and
Drag
drag it too.
It's true. And done.
Thank you, boss.
So yeah, true to form, you get Orc Splitter back. Orc Splitter is still technically, arguably, an intelligent creature. But you try to talk to it, and it just starts reciting the Eberron equivalent of Goodnight Moon. And Hargrim, you're gonna have some after effects for a little bit. There's gonna be a little while where your brain moves faster than your mouth. No, the other way around. Your mouth is gonna move faster than your brain. Beyond that, though, mechanically, what that's going to mean is during social encounters, I may at any point that I choose incur a disadvantage on charisma-based checks
Nice.
and wisdom-based checks.
I'm super good at both of those. So we got this.
Is there anything else we want to deal with or manage or get done?
I'll, sorry.
I actually kind of, now that we put it out there into the universe, I do want to go find the magic mouth spell.
Oh yeah, sure.
A scroll?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd do some scroll shopping too, just bard spells. Just as
Very good.
consumables.
Keep just for the record, Teddy, I know you and I did this on the back end a long time ago, but I do have access to all first level spells, either my book or scrolls that I need to put into my book. So
Mhm.
you can save us the trouble of first levels and just go second and up.
Oh hey, he's doing magic surgery. How much would it cost to implant Buddy's metal into my body?
Bro.
Said what now?
I like that. That's fun.
Run that by me again.
He can do all the magical surgeries, right? So how much would it cost me to like embed Buddy's metal into my body so I can't ever just like be pickpocketed easily of it?
It's like Iron Man it to your chest.
Yeah, kinda like in a bicep or something where it's mostly just flesh and it wouldn't really interfere with something too much.
Oh, okay. So as your friend, contractor, and guy who, in general, finds you pretty attractive, I must stress how much of a bad idea this sounds.
Is Finn
But-
or is this Teddy?
This is Finn.
Okay.
That said, I'll do it for 100. I'll do it for 1,500.
I guess I'll take your advice then. As he's like blushing a bright green.
I mean, it'll be rough. Your body will constantly be trying to reject it.
No, you're right. I'm just really nervous about someone trying to steal Buddy from me. That's all.
It's not worth your chest, man.
I'm guessing the spell would be way too complex to try to put into an earring or something instead, huh?
Yeah, it's these sorts of things. They are sort of set into the device, right? That's kind of its own failsafe.
Understandable. Thank you.
Although, speaking of these types of things, you can set your own passphrase for the flame tongue, just so you're all aware. We can set that up right now, if you would like to change it from what it was to something different.
Oh,
You mean keep on trucking's not a good passphrase?
I'd have to think of a good one. Unless the party can think of a good one.
Okay, is there a cheap way to shrink him down though? Never mind. I'm getting off topic. Let's get on with this.
Oh, I guess if we're scroll shopping.
Like a shrink down, buddy.
Yeah, just for sometimes when like if we need to get his large self through something, I just wanted a way to be able to like pocket him for a second or something.
I I might be able to whip up a reduce component. But that's going to be fairly expensive. By the way, the Scroll of Magic Mouth is 200 gold.
It's not 50 gold per level.
No, that's to copy it into your book.
No, I'm. It is arbitrary. It's what's another 100 gold.
You gotta pay for the scroll, and then you gotta pay to put it in your book.
This is true.
Being a wizard can be expensive, but it can also be very profitable. Hey, the sane prices guy listed it as 240.
240.
Then it's highway robbery.
I mean,
Let's
they
do-
put like a decanter of endless water at something like 1,000 gold, and that like changes the destiny of entire kingdoms. So
Yeah, that's true.
Is enlarge reduce the same thing since it's the same level?
um
240 for the scroll.
I have a scroll of. Hold on. Can they just copy?
I think
Well-
we use that Hardrum for the big old helmet.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
It,
I-
yeah.
You're right.
There are some
Uh.
spells we can copy and some we cannot. So
it is the same price.
okay. I'll just spend the 340 and just slap it in my book.
Second level bard spell heat metal.
That's also 200.
Oh no.
Are those in abundant supply? Like I could get a couple of them.
Roll for me 2d4.
I'm gonna change my catchphrase to, or the activation, whatever, for Flame Tongue to "It's getting hot in here."
I'm gonna take my clothes off.
Understood. I'll give you a +1 bonus on any attempts to sunder armor. No, I'm kidding.
Take it.
Yeah, you can get up to 5 from your contact, Shabazz.
Oh, I don't think I need that many. I'll just take a couple of them. Is good. I'll take 2.
That's fair. Just saying, you can't get more than 5. So 2 of them, 400 gold. Sounds good.
Thank you.
What else do we want to get up to?
Oh no. Okay, good.
If anything, or is it party time?
Is it?
Go ahead.
Oh no, you're good.
I'm just saying, are we shopping now for the party, or party time means we're going straight to the party?
You can do shopping before the party. I'm not gonna.
Well, okay.
I will say, so the party is technically a black tie event, right? Or we would call it a black tie event. It's a formal event. You are not permitted to carry any weapon except for a melee sidearm that will hang from a belt that will be piece knotted and openly displayed.
Hmm.
Is Peacebound still a spell in D&D? Sorry, sidebar.
It is not a spell in 5e. No. But we're talking about like a literal like with a rope. Your weapon will be
The
placed
copper and the wire stand.
like yeah, it'll be piece knotted at the door, so it will not be easy to draw. There is a Breelish fashion for that, by the way. You would use you wouldn't use a rope for formal events. Piece knotting your weapon for formal events is normal, right? Like mostly it's for like ceremonial sabers and stuff like that, right? So like the tradition is to use like a silk scarf, because that's like one of the, like the early kings of Galifar did for some event. There's mythology behind it. But that's not really important. So it became like fashionable. Oh wait, no, it wasn't a king of Galifar. It was like one of the lords of Breland, because it's like specifically a Breelish thing. But you would tie the silk scarf in place of a rope for the piece knot because it looks good. Silk is a very strong material, right? But feels very soft, and you know it can be dyed a bunch of different colors. So you can like get a silk scarf that like sort of like matches your outfit. And some people like tie up their weapons in like different ways, right?
Am I going to be allowed to have my instrument?
Well, you are a bard. You are going to be allowed to have your instrument.
Oh, thank you.
I think
Do
Well,
investigation and bribing to see what security measures are being taken for the ball to see if they have anti-magic zones or detect magic at the gates.
there are going to be security. So the ball is taking place at the home of the Lord Mayor, right? He is the host of this ball. So there is going to be so anti-magic in Sharn is a very difficult thing to do, right? Because especially when you get to the higher levels, like a big enough anti-magic field, for example, in Skyway would drop the district, right? So there when there is like anti-magic specialists, they are specialists. And they tend to make people up there nervous. You're not going to Skyway, you're going to the upper you're going to Mithril Towers. But it is still like anti-magic is kind of taboo in Sharn, except in very specific places. And it becomes more and more common, ironically, the lower you go, because there's such a dependency on magic. The higher you go. There are definitely going to be detect magic indicators, right? So, for example, Jex, right? If you guys are talking about like what to bring with you, there is no in the invitation. There is nothing to say that you can't bring an instrument or something. And Shabazz does have his excuse as a rather well-known bard at this point to bring an instrument, like it's part of his job. But Jex, and especially like Theo, like you would definitely know, Theo, that like there's going to be someone on security who's going to clock an instrument of the bards as soon as Shabazz walks in,
Yeah.
right? And more likely, won't stop him, right? But there are going to be like security contingencies in place.
Okay, I'm just trying to find out information for when I tried to do stupid shenanigans with Mage Hand Ledgerman.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you get your sleight of hand rolls good, right? There's gonna be people like doing magic and stuff at the ball. Again, like so Breland is a very industrious country, but Sharn is both industrious and very magical. Like its proximity to the manifest zones and being home to Margrave University, like everybody, the higher you go, if not a magic user themselves, is very used to magic and has like magical items on them, right? Like you're going to be walking into a place where you can probably expect 3/4 of everyone in there to all like be a wizard or sorcerer or something, right? Just baseline.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, yeah, there's going to be security, and security is probably going to be prepared for a lot of things, but like this event is for the elite of Sharn to have a good time, and Theo, you in particular, you and Jax in particular are both concerned over the possibility of oh, very nice. Very, very concerned over like are the cults going to do anything, right?
Mm.
But you guys have dealt a heavy blow to all 4 cults. Like they are in a state of recovery.
Mm-hmm.
And Theo, if your gut is right, then there's going to be so many power players that while attempting target, that is poking a bear
Yeah.
real hard. Like you're halfway expecting like you guys are going to be there. You're probably guessing that Hadrian is going to be there. If not like Merrick's Decaneth himself.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even be surprised if like your cousin might come home from rote to
Mm-hmm.
make an appearance maybe. But that's kind of like up in the air, like with this kid and everything.
Yeah.
That said, you are going connected with a Boromar. So through Hargrim, Corin does come by and say that if you and yours, especially since you'll be like looking after the boss's kid, right?
Mm-hmm.
Been told to pass along that if any of you need any access to Glamour Weave, we know a guy.
That I can. Is it shift weave or glamour weave? Or glamour shift weave?
It's two different things. Shift weave is the multiple
Yeah.
outfits, and glamour weave is the charisma checks.
Oh, pardon me. I meant shift weed. Thank you, Schwal. Have an inspiration
Okay.
for that. I get those two confused all the time.
Thank you.
Hey, Teddy.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Glamour to be both because my glamored studded armor allows me to change the appearance of it.
It does.
If I were to cast Alter Self, so Alter Self in of itself is, um, it's a self-based target and range. If I upcast it at a higher level, can I, as a wizard, and my wizardly duties, can I alter the spell to be able
Okay.
to change the target to someone else?
You know what? I will allow that.
Okay. How high do I need to upcast it?
For another person,
Yes.
a polymorph is like a third level spell, if I remember correctly, right?
Polymorph is fourth.
Polymorph is fourth. Then using that as a basis, I'd probably say cast Alter Self as a fourth level spell.
Oh, I have polymorph. Never mind. I can use polymorph if need be, or alter self. But basically, what I'd like to do is I would like to spend a couple spell slots either during or before concentration up to an hour to alter Shino
Huh?
so that her dragon mark cannot be detected.
Right. That's going to require an Arcana check.
Okay.
You guys get ready to do that. As you approach the dragon mark, Windvane psychically starts screaming at you. It is distracting, and it starts pleading with you emotionally because it doesn't like communicate in words, right?
Yeah.
So like through its emotion, it's like shrieking at you to not do that. And even then, like the Shino, you get like this feeling from your dragon mark that the dragon mark doesn't want that, and your leg feels pain. As Theo starts casting his spell, and Theo, you can feel like it resisting you, which is something that like with polymorph, or alter self, that's nothing you've ever come across quite like this. Like there's resistance from a person. With this kind of application, it's weird. Like it's less that it's fighting you and more like it is making a compelling argument for you not to do this. Like you don't really want to, on a gut level, even though like rationally in your mind you're like, I know what I'm doing. Especially with that Arcana at 24, you identify the feeling for what it is. Like the proximity to the dragon mark and
Yeah.
maybe your connection with Windvane is trying to influence your decision making, but you break through that.
Okay.
Do you proceed?
Um, I would like to see what Jex has, and then we will proceed accordingly.
Jax, what do you got?
She's not gonna come in.
I missed something.
Oh, we thought you were about to say something or suggest.
Oh, I was just joking about we could cover it up with makeup if the magic was going to be difficult.
Oh,
Hit that bitch with some foundation.
Okay, so I think the problem of the Dragon Mark itself is not the visual aspect, but more the magical
Yes.
aspect. And we're going to a party full of wizards and sorcerers who could probably clock that thing from a mile away. Not to
okay.
mention, not to mention, I believe Teddy mentioned the any housey worth their weight in gold can notice
Yeah.
shenanigans is afoot.
But that's what's clever about this alter self polymorph plan, right?
Okay.
Is I mean, it's uncomfortable, but with Theo physically um obfuscating it,
Uh huh.
um, it will visually hide the dragon mark,
Uh huh.
dampen the dragon mark's aura because it has physically changed. Doesn't get rid of it, but you are now also giving off an aura of polymorph.
Oh.
Right? So
Yeah.
if somebody detects magic on you, right, they're going to see one before the other.
Which
And
this is a high society ball, so I'm sure Shino will definitely not be the only one who has alter self or polymorph on
oh,
That's-
yes.
Okay, that's what I was gonna follow up with. Like, is the is that aura gonna emanate from her leg, or did they just know there's an aura around me that's been polymorphed?
When polymorph, well, technically, how the polymorph spell works is that it affects your entire body. So what Theo would be doing is he'd be focusing the change on your leg, but he would be technically changing your body to you, right?
Ah.
He wouldn't be changing much, but by how the spell works, he would just be like Control C, Control V
them.
for the most part.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although, is there anything you want to add or subtract from Shino? Now
Uh,
that you have the temptation at your fingertips.
Up or down a cup.
Right. I'd be like, Shino, if we're gonna do this, is there anything that you'd like me to add or remove minus your dragon mark?
um, I mean, is almost everyone gonna be like polymorphed in some way or the other? Because like, I feel like this is my or her debut arc, and I don't want it going out like, oh, this new bombshell of a babe is out there, but she also uses polymorph. So how real is real?
Yeah, in Breland and high society, it's pretty standard, you know, like a lot of folk will use alter self to do things like get rid of some wrinkles, you know.
Okay, so
Uh,
doing this plan, Shabazz needs to make sure to hit Theo with some temporary HP just in case any minor damage happens at the party, so it isn't trouble.
I have Warcaster, so I have advantage on Constitution
yeah,
saving
but with
throws.
your rolls, that don't mean shit.
I know.
Yeah, that's what I'm gonna say. With the way we rolled some days, that
I understand
I-
where you're coming from, and it is a solid plan, but we are talking about you.
That is you're not wrong.
All
Yeah,
right, well,
Shabazz is gonna inspire leader of the gang, yeah.
Oh yeah.
We also have cookies. If worst comes to worst, if you get down to like 5, just munch on a, or down to 1, just munch on a cookie.
Yeah.
This
Um,
may not be important, but have we rested since the last thing? Where are we at here? Time
Oh, yeah,
wise.
you guys can
Yeah.
rest.
Yeah.
If it's after Hargrim's surgery, then it's been like 2 days.
Does my temporary increase to HP still last that long? Or is that
No,
gone
that's
too?
only 8 hours, so that
Okay.
goes back down 15. Everybody's got to reduce their max by 15.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
Thank
I
you.
But
have-
your temporary hit points should be 16 for
Okay.
the
Yes.
inspiring.
Sweet.
do not cast aid on me because I'm going into this ball with 69 HP.
Very good.
Okay.
Yeah, no. As for like enhancing or reducing, their temptation very much is there, but
A little
So
upper gravity, like
yeah.
I was
And then-
thinking lower
gravity manipulation.
I was thinking the lower parts.
Help the lower back.
Roast beef curtains.
All right. So this is an adequate solution to detection of the dragon mark, and I don't need to go Yakuza style up to the Boromars anymore.
It will, depending on how long we're there, I can do it up to 5 hours, 3 to 5 hours, if I'm using polymorph. But it also gets rid of my higher level spells. So at minimum, we have 3 hours. That's all my 4th level spell slots. At most, we have 5, and that's all of my 4th and 5th levels.
Okay.
I'm fine
If-
getting rid of my 4ths. It's the 5ths that I'm kind of.
No, it's fine. If Shino does alter self as well, will that help, or is it just maintaining the alter self?
I mean, they wouldn't be able to stack. The stronger spell would be the one in effect.
Right. Okay.
Can I allow Theo to load one of his alter cells into Buddy the day before so I have an extra one?
Ooh.
Or am I only allowed to do it?
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay. So
Alright.
yeah, I'll throw in if it's the day before. Is it only one spell that I can put in him?
Yes.
Okay, then yeah, I'll put in a. We'll do
Put in
the same
polymorph.
level as polymorph, so we'll do a 4th level alter self.
I just gotta toss it out there. Wasn't there another plan that didn't require concentration spells? I thought there was like a Boromar solution or something that was discussed in chat like weeks ago.
I had the idea of a tattoo, but that kind of fell flat. And then Teddy's just like, the Boromars might have a solution, and I'm like, cool. I want to RP out the solution, and then it seems like we're not going down the solution.
Oh.
I mean, the solution was getting you like special shift weave.
Oh, well, that would have worked.
I mean, not under close scrutiny, right? Like at a glance, like okay, the shift weave is showing like illusion magic or transmutation magic, fine, right? But if anybody like caught wise, they would be able to do like an investigation check, right? And so like under close,
So this is like an extra layer of security.
Yeah.
I still want to
That,
get
like-
the shift weave.
this is a better solution technically, and they're also not offering the shift weave because of the dragon mark. They're offering the shift weave so you could make Conwyn Boromar look like more of a badass than
Yes.
he already isn't.
Yes, I will take the shift weave on that alone. The dragon mark shenanigans can be everyone else doing dragon mark shenanigans, but I will want to take that shift weave.
Very
So
good.
How much gold is that?
From the Boromars?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Oh,
If it's just an outfit, if it's not attached to armor, then it's nothing. But
no.
here's the caveat. You make Conwyn look good. There will be a price if you embarrass the Boromars, if you embarrass Conwyn. or egregiously even embarrass yourselves to a certain extent, right? Like
Where
they don't need the heat.
can I get shift weave not from the Boromars?
Well, sure, but that's going to actually cost money.
Indulge me.
You can get a shift weave dress.
Because like I don't mind taking it from the Boromars, but I don't want to be like have that anxiety and pressure.
This is 500 gold.
Oh, well then I'll just take a normal ass shift weave.
Okay.
And
So
I'll
yeah, it's
go
just
with
clothes.
this. I'll go with the subplot of trying to impress the Boromars, and not if I fail. Well, if I fail, they'll still be after me, but it's not like
Yeah.
do good or else.
I mean, it is leverage, right?
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to remove.
I thought
Easily
we were
done.
going to purposely embarrass him because we were mad at the Boromars now, not going to lie.
No, I'll be on good behavior.
If we're taking extra precautions, is that dragon mark that Shino has? Would it be close enough to be disguisable? As I mean, if we were to, what am I trying to say? To at least kind of sort of cover it, so it's just not noticeably that. Maybe fake it and make it look like a different dragon mark, just in case the other stuff drops.
Well, the problem is the magic aura, right? Even if you make it just visually look like another dragon mark, any Housey is going to look at it and be like, that is an aberrant dragon mark, right? That's going to be their first excuse, and those are, technically speaking, illegal to have. So, like, actually, I want to know Jex's opinion on Theo's solution of polymorphing the aberrant dragon mark away, or to look at like that's why the polymorph works, because the polymorph's magic aura masks the fact that it is a dragon mark, right?
Did we ever talk about lead and how that affected Eberron magic?
Yes. Yes. I talked about lead tattoos, and lead
If
does negate magical stuff.
lead will poison you.
Yes. That was a short-lived idea.
But lead-based makeup takes many months to develop enough in your skin to start to poison you.
Lead-based makeup, yeah, that's one thing. The discussion was lead-based tattoos, and that goes directly into your body.
That's fair. I was just thinking of using powdered lead as the base for a foundation that matches her skin tone, and seeing if that would be enough to dampen it.
Well, the thing about that is that lead also needs to be at least an inch thick before it disguises magic.
I guess that's fair.
So I'm
So-
wearing combat heels.
So you could,
Better
right? That's a
thick
lot
lead.
of foundation. That's a lot of makeup. You're caking that shit on. Speaking of getting on, we are a quarter past our usual break time, so I think now would be a great time for us to recollect. The polymorph plan will work.
Sweet.
Just gonna like put that out there, just to make that official. That'll work. Magic is something to expect. A lot of people at this party is going to have access to magic, so it won't be out of the ordinary. Empty yourselves, water yourselves, whatever you need to do. I'll see you guys in 10 to 15. I have returned.
I too have returned.
Ah, welcome.
I've been here the whole time.
Sam Rice, is that you?
Is Shino's dragon mark just a ragged in name and not image?
Sorry, say again?
I'm looking at spell components because if I'm gonna have my book and that's all I can have, I can't have my longsword, which I use to summon Tio, because it needs to be an image of a dragon engraved on it. So I was wondering if the dragon mark was just a dragon in name alone and it didn't have any like iconography of a dragon.
Yeah, it isn't technically a dragon mark. It isn't even technically an aberrant dragon mark. It's sort of its own thing. But, I mean, there is nothing stopping you from having your book with you and your longsword.
I thought we were limited to one item.
As far as weapons, you are limited to having a sidearm that is on display.
Oh. I see, said the blind man.
You are absolutely allowed. You are absolutely allowed to bring your spell books. You can bring a purse, right?
I see.
A purse of holding.
Could bring a purse of holding. Although it would be rather gauche. You could do so, but bags of holding, at least Theo would know, are generally in poor taste for a few reasons.
Yeah, can't have people stealing all the hors d'oeuvres.
Oh, I was thinking 20 goblins in the bag of holding, but I guess that works too.
For a number of reasons.
In high society, you don't want people stealing the appetizers.
Just curious, would the steel defender survive in the bag of holding since it doesn't have to breathe? Shield defender, whatever it is. Buddy.
I would feel if you can get it in, yes, but the problem is it has to
Yeah.
fit coming out as well.
Yeah,
So
that is the major thing. So you wouldn't be able to. You need a bigger bag of holding to physically get it over.
It's the same reason my wife won't let me do anal.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah, I lost fucking count. God damn you.
So if a bag of holding just goes to the astral plane, if you're just chilling, walking around the astral plane, are you eventually just gonna run into someone's pile of shit?
Yep.
Cool.
I read an adventure where that happens. Also, I hope those are undead goblins that we're talking about in this hypothetical of yours.
Oh no, it's usually a short-term plan that involves a sphere of air breathing or something. You have to send a small party member into the bag, cast the spells, fill it with goblins, and then dump them out within the time.
I mean,
Roll a d100 to see how many goblins forgot to hold their breath.
right? I mean, technically, you can last up to 10 minutes without holding your breath in the bag of holding. Or no, sorry, I take that back. That's the portable hole. You have about 10 minutes of air.
Yes.
I thought you meant like you have 10 minutes and then you die because that's how long you can hold your breath.
There is a calculation on how long you can hold your breath. And it's something
Yeah,
to do with your Constitution modifier.
It's
Yeah, it's
your
5 times con? Or is that Pathfinder?
I thought it was just your um it's your con modifier, and that's how many minutes you can hold your breath.
That sounds pretty close.
Yeah, that sounds right for 5th ed.
I don't remember for sure, but I know it's based on
So-
the con modifier.
How long can you hold your breath, Theo?
I think it's 1 plus your con modifier, so I can hold my breath for 1 minute.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly, we did this recently in my home game, and if I remember correct, it's been a minute since I looked at the rules, but if I remember correctly, it's 1 plus your con. Because we're always having to look up these arbitrary rules. What's your jump height? How much can you hold if you're holding on to someone? That players get into
What's your jump height if your con modifier is 4 and you've been holding your breath already for 3 minutes?
Yes, exactly. That is some of the stuff that I have to answer.
The answer is yes.
The answer is we'll find out. Roll for me real quick.
I've had a
Roll
question
percentile.
come that way to me before. I asked them how much of a Griffin McElroy they were. It was a reference they didn't get, but it did give me an excuse to use this GIF, which I love a lot. Right. So it is the evening of the event. Your buddy. His name is escaping me at the moment. Your Boromar contact, Corin. You can post those right in there. Right in Discord, or you can put them in Faces of Sharn. Either way. Depending on how much you want to share with how many people. Well, I guess you guys have the only access to Faces of Sharn, but you can put them in Tavern, Workshop, memes. I don't give a shit.
Everyone's posting in there.
It all depends on who you want to see it.
Yeah, Misha's the only one that sees it in Faces of Sharn, aside from us.
Her artist privileges.
I feel like I'm gonna raise questions from her that I don't really want to answer right now.
If anyone's going to understand, it's going to be Mish.
That's probably true.
Like, actually, before we start, I will share with you guys a commission she got for an event like this when she was playing an earlier edition of this game that I was running.
Ooh.
That she was a part of the group of. It is a very good commission. Let me see if I can. What a collection!
Would you believe me if I had to narrow it down to these?
Yes.
I would.
If you go with the black one, you and Theo will be matching.
Well, I think the idea, or at least in my head, is just all five will be on display at some point, and I might just be like rotating them hourly or every 10 minutes or something.
Are you gonna borrow Madame Rouge's brooch of changing?
No, Teddy, will you link up the shift weave?
I just closed out that.
Sure.
God damn it.
She won't have to. The shift weave, she can do all that anyway. That one dress has all five of it in it.
Mm.
That's why I chose five specifically.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, her character Mercy was super neat. I mean, it is super neat. She didn't die or anything.
Yes. I'll let you know the second one is the more tame version of the one I actually wanted.
Oh my.
I don't know if I can find it again because I've deleted the post. I might be able to.
Shift Weave, created by the children of Jess. Jess.
Let's see here.
I understand how you feel, Teddy, about hearing your real name like that. My real name is Jess. And that kind of freaked me out a little bit when you said that out loud.
Yeah, it's weird. Whenever I hear Jeff away from the computer, I double take. So, Corin is helping Hargrim. He's like fixing your tie and everything as you're sort of. So you guys remember the rest of what you're supposed to be doing, right?
Nope.
Ah, okay.
We're not here just for pleasure.
Something about some kid.
So, Miss Shino, I'm not sure what accent that was going to be. He's got kind of like a New York thing. Miss Shino, she is going to be Conwin's, arm candy.
Mm-hmm.
The rest of you are supposed to be tracking down and cozying up to this drow lady that the boss has his eyes on. He doesn't trust too much. Her name is Nervarine.
Oh my god. This is a sexy drow.
Right.
She's the new player in Sharn.
Yeah, we knew that. I was just making sure you knew what we were doing.
She's doing exotic imports.
You remind that little shit that she's arm candy, not hand candy too.
Eye candy.
Okay.
Oh, a piece of candy.
Conwin's gonna be here pretty soon. All right. See, you guys treat him well.
Mm-hmm.
Look into this Nervarine broad. Right? Then you tell me, or you go talk to the boss directly. Right? And then we're good. And depending on what kind of dirt you can dig up and how good of a time Conwin has, the more you'll get paid.
Okay, so through the mental link, if the drow's cute, we're gonna double cross them, right?
I remember sexy drow, new player in Sharn with exotic imports. The last I heard of Novarine, that's what I know. I don't remember when she was mentioned or how. But that does ring a bell, and that's all I know about it.
I'm all for double crossing the Boromar. Hargrim seems to think it's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, just get information about who she is, what her deal is. Right? That's the
Yep. Recon.
that
Recon only.
well, like maybe not only,
Oh.
but she's an unknown factor. And if you guys start a fight, that's just going to be embarrassing for everybody.
What's the
Nah.
what's the little dude's name?
Everyone, I love embarrassing housies.
Yeah, okay. His name is Conwan Boromar. I'll get the name in chat.
Theo will look to Jax. And like, I swear to God, if you fuck shit up, I will fuck you up.
Listen, I'm asking mainly because I don't remember if I was ever told his name. I was just told he's the grandson.
I kind of want to see that fight though.
Come at me, boy. I got more HP than you know what to do with.
Did I say grandson?
That's what my notes say.
Pardon me. We're gonna do a quick recon because I think I messed up earlier. He is the youngest son of Sirius.
Oh, that's different.
He's the youngest child. He's the baby child. Following after Elira Boromar, who Theo and Hargrim and Jex, you all know, is a councilwoman in the city. And here's another little tidbit. So, there's a Lord Mayor, but Sharn is ran by a council, right? Many members of the council, but not all of them, are also members of like the 60 most wealthy people in the city, called the 60.
Yes.
And Elira in particular is, and first of all, she is dragon marked, right? But refused participation in House Jarasco so she can pursue a political career. Her mother is a part of House Jarasco. And that means it's kind of an open secret that means the Boromars have extra influence through the Jarasco connection, even though House Jarasco, who are healers by trade, aren't like, it's a complicated situation, right? Elira has a reputation of being a very successful councilwoman. Corrupt, but that's not really news for Sharn. And she has a sort of like a group of other council members that she has sort of like made alliances with, and they are unofficially referred to as the Boromar Bloc. Because whenever there's a policy that they don't agree with or a policy they want to push, they will unite as a group to push it, which irritates a bunch of people.
Okay, so that's who we need to embarrass at the party then.
I will do no such thing.
Corin says, please no. That's the boss's daughter. If we could not embarrass anybody, that would be great. We just need information on Miss Nervarim, and make sure that Conwyn comes out looking like a daisy. I lost Cornin's voice. That's actually Conwyn's voice. Pardon me. So Corin goes on and say, please, please, let's just get through this. And then there's going to be, cash rewards and favors and all that good stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, Hargrim, were you just like swimming in the ocean before this? You smell kind of briny.
It's yeah, for sure. Was swimming.
You do kind of notice something. You are presumably not bringing Drown or Windvane with you, right, fellas?
Yeah.
Correct.
There will be a point on the way there where the two of you feel a little bit more lightheaded, or not lightheaded, you like level-headed, and the physical changes caused by those weapons start to disappear.
My gills.
So there does seem to be a distance thing occurring. Although, Theo, you in particular, you can feel like your connection to Windvane. You could still probably summon it from wherever you are.
Yeah. It's gonna take forever.
Yeah, it will take forever. I would like to know what sidearm you're going to bring. And bear in mind, unless you have like a purse or like a fashionable accessory like that of some kind to carry things, you are kind of restricted to your pockets.
Pockets.
What do I have?
A really bad joke jump into my head. Just
Do it. Do it. Do it.
You,
Peer pressure.
know-
It's Thursday. Degeneracy.
we know you were born with at least two. Anyways,
Damn, I gotta go into this party half boned.
Could so I'm bringing my spell book as like wallet and chain. Could I bring my wings? Like wear my wings?
you could. There's no rule against it. You do know it would be a phenomenally bad idea.
Okay.
For a couple reasons. One, it's quite a statement. Two, while it could probably be interpreted as like a trophy from your victory over the prophetess of air, for most people it's still kind of a signifier of of bad memories, right?
Yeah. You know what? I think I'm going to bring. I'll bring the storm boomerang with me.
Okay.
And then obviously my spell book.
What's everybody else bringing?
Just light hammer in these hands.
Very good.
Oh, that tickles me so.
And I know Shabazz is bringing his instrument of the bards.
Yes. Is my Pegasus allowed?
Your Pegasus is allowed, but will be stabled by a valet, if not magically dismissed. Your Pegasus will not be allowed inside the building.
Okay. I'll have him stand by though, so he's within the mile to hear me.
I will stand at the ready, sir, vigilant of any threat. well, if you're all prepared, before too long, about half an hour before the event, the sun has set, and the lights of Sharn are starting to pop against the darkness of the night sky. A sky cab, a sky limo, in fact. Um, the limousine is a great deal longer and a little broader. It has a sort of like shiny, almost like a beetle carapace, like undercraft that has a reflective sheen. And it descends near the top of the tower. I think is where you guys agreed to have met.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the like outer sails that's sort of like folded in to create like privacy opens up, and out steps two Boromar thugs. These sort of like heavily muscled halfling, sunglassed, suit wearing tough guys. You know, they come out. One of them is like chewing on a toothpick. They got the Talenta uh, tattoos on their faces, and they look around. They look at the group of you and they nod. And one of them seems to like say something into a pin. And or making an appearance is a young halfling man, maybe in his like early 20s, if not, if you're feeling generous, like late teens, most likely early 20s. Uh, he's a handsome kid. He's a handsome kid. He's a little. He looks athletic. For a halfling, he's wearing a very finely tailored suit. Very classy, fashionable and up to date. He's wearing like a couple of rings on his fingers. Um, he's got like brown, like chestnut hair. That sort of like his bangs are long and sort of make that like M shape and frame his face, but it looks nervous. He's got like a goatee, sort of like trying to grow in. Like he's not quite at the point where he can grow a full beard yet, but that hair on the chin is doing enough work to be appropriate. He's got like this gold chain that looks a little bit too ostentatious for him because he's slumping over a little bit. And he's got these like large eyes that look like a little worried. Um, hello. He'll step forward and sort of like hop off the barge, hop off the sky cab, and approach. And he will approach your party, waiting for him, and he will put like a hand over his chest and do a Breelish style bow. And he looks up to Shino, sees that he can't quite make eye contact, takes a few steps back. My name is Conwyn Boromar. You must be Shinono Mirasaki. It is an honor to meet you.
Well, the honor is all yours. Because my young, strapping Conwyn Boromar, you must speak with confidence. And you need to say things with your chest. Say it with meaning. And I will go over and bend over and extend my hand, or maybe I'll squat. I don't know, whatever is more revealing. and just give him the look and just being like, "You're gonna be with me tonight. Get used to it."
Take an inspiration, you menace.
Close to Hargrim and Shabazz. I don't even know if Shino can make him look good.
So you're gonna. Yeah, he's like a handsome enough guy, but yeah, there's definitely like a meekness about him. Give me a I'm gonna you're gonna succeed no matter what you roll, but roll a persuasion check just for funsies.
Can I take that in newly found inspiration to roll it with advantage since I already had one?
If you want, yeah.
Okay. Persuasion, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh. Why?
There's a +10 too.
Why? That's so bad.
A 2 and a 1. See, that's why we're doing extra on your concentration.
Listen, actually, you know what? I'll let that. Well, that roll has to lie, anyways. I'll even bend closer to him and whisper in his ear and just be like, "Even I'm a little nervous about tonight."
His face goes a little bit red. And he tries to like compose himself. Wise words, miss. And I must say, you are even prettier. I mean, more beautiful than I was warned about. Shall we?
Please lead the way. And I'll outstretch my hand daintily for him to take it and lead me. Whisk me away, young knight.
Conwyn will guide you to the limousine. Yeah, he's got a surprising amount of like muscle on him. You feel as he sort of like takes your arm, and he's definitely more comfortable in his body than with his words. He will guide you up onto the limousine.
Do I notice that?
Yes.
Okay.
Right. Just in sort of like the way he moves and the way he treats you, he is very confident in a physical sense. He might be some kind of athlete or fighter or something along those lines, though. Maybe not the latter, because he doesn't seem to have like any scars or anything on him. He doesn't even have like a weapon on his person.
Does his hand have calluses when he grabbed yours?
His hand does have some calluses.
Wondering if we're dealing with a knight in his freshly acquired armor.
The two Boromar toughs say, "You are free to accompany Master Boromar and his entourage. We will be accompanying you to the event. We will not be entering the building with you. We'll also provide travel back to this location via the same vehicle. If you please, make yourselves comfortable." And the inside of the limousine is like, it is like a limousine. There's a oval ring of very plush seating. The canopy sail makes it so that nobody can like really peek in, but you can look out and see the city as you eventually fly away and head to the Mithril Towers. And there is a bar that has some bottles of wine and spirits and glasses and ice. And there is a crystal radio that you could tune into if you want. Is currently playing like a nighttime jazzy number. And there's you see like the two toughs kind of go into like the cabin, which unlike a car, the cabins for sky cabs are in the back of the ship, and there is like a black pane of glass, right, that separates them from you guys. So it's just you guys and Conwyn. And are you bringing Buddy?
Yeah, I thought we got him all decked out even.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure. So like the ship like lurches when Buddy gets inside, but nobody's gonna stop you.
He looks like a metal butler. She knows, shit, what's the word? Chaperone.
Oh, okay. Okay, that's not the word I was.
You're an eligible young lady. You can't go into a party with a man like that unattended. The scandal.
Son, I'm old enough to be your mother.
Even worse.
Can't have you running away with some young bachelor.
Damn elven cougars.
Also, I think Buddy defends you, not me.
He looks like he can defend anybody he wants.
I mean,
That's quite an entourage, Michino. Is that a real shield guardian? I don't think I've seen one in person.
Oh yeah, I ripped the amulet off someone's neck after crushing his throat.
Well,
It was a
then.
good bout.
Is that how it happened?
I honestly don't remember, but that's the story I'm going with.
That's fair.
Oh, you didn't build them yourself?
Oh god, I wish I was that talented. No. Wish I could get Finn to build me one though. I bet it'd be gorgeous. Like trails off awkwardly.
Well, I'm not sure who Finn is, but yeah, hopefully they'll be able to do that for you. I don't know what you want. Shield Guardians are pretty rare though. They're pretty vintage. You know, they were in practice like the precursors to Warforged. Like they share a lot of similar components. Obviously, Shield Guardians don't have the same cores that Warforged got that allow them to have souls, which is incredibly interesting, by the way.
I always wondered if those were created with the cores or if they just absorbed other ones. You know what I mean?
That's an interesting question, but honestly, I think you'd have to ask a Kenneth about that. That's a bit outside my education on the subject.
What are your interests, young master?
Oh, well, I like racing. I just got into the qualifiers this year for the Race the 8 Wins.
That's actually impressive.
For those who don't know, and you guys would all know in character, the Race the 8 Wins is a semi-annual, like it happens like once a season, about of aerial races that occur that just like go through Sharn. It's like colloquially it's like Sharn NASCAR.
I'm making a left turn.
But like the racers can use like sky cabs or any magic item that gives them flight. There's always like one guy with like a magic carpet, or you can use like natural, like there are shifters and Aarakocra and gargoyles. who have like natural features that they used to race. The current champion of the Race the Eight Winds is a gargoyle, in fact. Though I can't remember his name off the top of my head, much to my embarrassment. But one of the previous champions is now a counselor for the city named Hruit, and Hruit is a giant owl.
The bizarre.
And he used to use illusion magic to puppeteer an illusionary human jockey so he could race. So for like years and years, he would just use like illusion spells to put a human on his back and just like do the races on his own until he got outed. But it became like a very brief scandal followed by, well, isn't that the most Sharn thing y'all fucking ever heard?
I mean, can't blame the
True.
hustle.
Yeah. So he got a job in politics. Where like Ondare and Thrain and like these neighboring nations like, what the fuck? You should imprison that man. Like, you should charge him. But Breland's just that kind of place. Sharn in particular.
You must be quite the flyer to have qualified unharmed.
Well, I wouldn't say unharmed. I've definitely had my scrapes and bruises, but yeah, I'd love to fly. So I guess what I'm gonna be doing eventually is taking over the family business, I guess. And Jex, like, you have enough like passive insight to see that like Conrad doesn't really like. You're not sure how good he'd be or not. Like that would probably take an actual insight check, but it is pretty obvious that he's not too interested.
Would it be rude to say you don't seem to have the heart for the business?
Yeah, well, yeah, I guess it's never really been my thing, but my sister isn't gonna do it, and yeah, well.
If
I also do a fair amount of Skyblades, and I dabbled in Hrazak. Theo, you recognize Skyblades.
Mm-hmm.
Skyblades is like a word we would call it in the real world would probably be something like aerial jousting.
Mm.
It's kind of similar to it's yeah, you'd get on a aerial mount or find some way to fly and basically charge at each other with a weapon. With some more specific rules, right? You have like starting blocks and then you charge, and
Yeah.
and it's kind of neat. Like it's kind of like jousting and dueling meets like a little bit of like a dash of figure skating,
Okay.
right? Because it's also based on like you get points with recovery as well, right? So you get a lot of like really interesting. It's very popular in Non-Dare, because you get to see very cool sort of like aerial maneuvers, right? And because it's like a fight, you occasionally get these really interesting like synchronized, recovery maneuvers, join figure eights and things as participants like turn and pivot and try to meet each other in expedient fashion. It's a rather beautiful sport and takes a lot of skill to do. Um, and Hrazak is something that maybe none of you had heard before. Anyone can make a history check if they want to recall what Hrazak is.
I honestly thought you said Puzzok for a second.
No. Hargrim, you have no idea. Theo, you do know, as does Jex. Hrazak is a shifter sport. It is a full contact shifter sport. It's sort of similar to Capture the Flag. There are 7-person teams, and they each have an idol, and the objective is to steal the idol from the other team and bring it back to base.
Okay.
It is not looked upon very kindly by high society. Lower society fucking loves it, right? There's a saying, Jex, that you know, that's pretty popular around Goldgate. It's not a game for Zoc if a fan doesn't leave with a tooth.
You send many tooths to the stands then?
Oh, I'm not on any team or nothing. I just started dabbling, but and he'll sort of position himself. Excuse me, I don't want to make anyone upset. So if you're squeamish, I won't be offended if you turn away. But Conwin, like, assuming that you're down with this, he'll make eye contact with you, Jax, and then like fishhook his own cheek and like open it up, and you can see in his mouth that he is like missing the tooth behind his canine.
Nice.
Yeah, Ma is telling me I can get that replaced, but I kind of don't want to yet.
I'd imagine having connections to the House
Uh,
Halfling, it would make it hard to actually get to keep a scar.
Yeah. Especially when one of the bosses is your mom. But beyond that, I'm kind of interested in the history of the war, and I'm interested in civic issues. I kind of picked that up from my sister, though we got some differing viewpoints. But that's basically me. I heard a bunch about you guys. Well, before this, I already knew about you, Mr. Just Watcher. I'm a big fan of your work.
I'm not sure how to take that.
Understandable. Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm speaking as Conwyn, not a Boromar in that regard. I like how you protect your people.
Fair. How many people are ahead of you in the succession right now? Just curious.
I immediately elbow Jex.
Conwyn will chuckle. I am the heir apparent. Technically, Elira would have more of a claim than me, but she's already in the political game. And so that makes that, it's better if she doesn't get involved too much in the family business.
True, you're definitely not cutthroat enough for politics. Gang life, maybe. Politics,
Yeah, I've been told that.
don't take it wrong either. I mean that as a compliment.
Oh, well, thank you, Mr. Duskwatcher. And, of course, I've heard about Mr. Halfbane. I kind of grew up to your stories, sir.
Hopefully, good ones.
I mean, I guess it depends on your definition of good, but Pa talks about you like you're his chief enforcer. Before you got out of the game, there was even talk of promotion in your future.
All that would have been nice. No, we're good. I didn't need
No, you made the right call, if you ask me. Although, besides the obvious, I'm not really familiar with the rest of you, but it is what I've heard has only been good things.
Well, if everything comes out good for us after this cult shenanigans, then you at least have a friend in the House Orion if you should need anything.
Uh, that's very dangerous, but getting a little close to talking business and
Just person to person. I'm not a Baron. I'm just Theo here. At least to you. To everyone else, I'm Baron. But to you, person to person.
I understand. Yeah, it is my hope that at the very least we can leave this sky cab as more friends than associates. If you catch my meaning.
Absolutely.
There's a little crystal that sort of like thrums, and you hear a voice. Master Boromar, we are approaching Dellen Tower. ETA about 5 minutes.
Oh shit, I haven't pre-gamed yet. Chugs a bottle of champagne.
I think at this point I'll go ahead and cast the Alter Self on Shino.
You probably should have done that before we got into the limo.
Oh, hey,
Well, you're wearing a long dress, aren't you? Or is
I'm looking at those pictures. There's a lot of leg.
there's a lot of legs.
That was kind of the point.
I will have then. Yeah, I'll go ahead and cast it before.
Okay.
So we've got. I'm just gonna already go ahead. You've got 3 hours before I tap into anything higher. Technically 4, but you got about 3 to 4 hours of concealment.
Here. Let me see your book, and I'll just copy Alter Self into mine. And if worse comes to worse, I'll start tapping into my spells.
Okay. I am casting at a 4th level just because that's the same level as Polymorph. So it's a 2nd level spell.
Where is my sheet?
Yeah, because I got all 3 of my 4th level spell slots plus the spell that I put in Buddy.
Very good. So the Lord Manor's Tower is a rather extravagant manor that is placed on top of one of the central towers in Mithril Towers. It's not positioned on Skyway, but traditionally it hasn't been. The Lord Mayor's Tower always has the estate built upon using magic, adding floors in the middle of the tower and sort of like pushing the top up. Is one of the few towers in Sharn that does that. The current mayor, Lord Mayor, is Cathan Yerdemel. You all know him as something of a uncontroversial politician, though he's been growing a little bit more eccentric in the past few years, but not so much as to be. Well, let me put it this way: Hargrim, your mom has voted for Lord Mayor Cathan, and she describes him as when people have been hearing about he might be losing it a little bit, she'll go, "Oh, I like him more now than I did before. He's a little silly in a way that I like." So he's got sort of like centrist policies. He doesn't really like rock the boat too much. He sort of like leans towards the majority, and kind of like is just there to really make sure there is a neutral party between different groups. He has taken authority before, but it's kind of well known that he doesn't really like doing it. He's much more of sort of like a diplomat in that way. He's sort of like a peacekeeper. Most people know him as sort of like a genial guy, but like a little weird. There is a number of guests on the grounds of the manor. But you can tell, especially Theo, with your history in high society, you can tell that most of these people don't really matter.
Yeah.
Folks in the gardens and on the grounds, drinking and carousing outside, they're really just like bodies. You get the feeling that these are like personal assistants or squires or pretty people that don't have a lot of like influence. This is reinforced by the fact that, and this starts to become possibly a problem depending on your personal outlooks. This is like a red carpet event, sort of. The Sky Limo comes down and it opens up, and you see that there are journalists with cameras, right? With cypress crystals meant to flash and then imprint images, right, on magic paper. And like preemptively, like Conwyn seems to be on it because he offers you, Shino, this really elegant wireframe pair of sunglasses that look really cute. And then he pulls out his own set of sunglasses, like he's ready for this. The rest of you are kind of SOL unless you brought some or have shift weave already.
Theo doesn't care. He's been to parties like this with his parents.
It's not the first high society scam I've ran. I stand behind Theo's right shoulder more like a bodyguard that's dressed up to go in with him than a guest themselves.
How about Hargrim and Shabazz?
Guess I'd take up the bodyguard kind of look like Jax is, but probably closer to Shino and the young Boromar.
What's Shabazz's approach?
I am sorry. I'm half with it tonight. I missed what's going on.
Oh no.
Paparazzi.
Oh,
Yeah.
they're taking our pictures.
They're about to as soon as you guys leave the limo.
Oh, it's Shabazz. He's in a sequin suit. He'll fucking ham it up for anything.
Very good. In that case, I want a performance check from Shabazz.
I'm opening it now.
Make sure to shine up the dome.
He's sequined a suit.
Oh,
Okay.
I might have. I think my glamour weave lets me roll a d4 for performance. Yeah.
I do it. Let's see the d4.
Ooh.
14. 14 is still not bad. So Shapaz, you aren't gonna steal the show. You are ready to leave first, and the photos, like the cameras, start flashing, and you flinch a little bit because it's like nighttime and it's bright. But your sequins are definitely eye catching. It does not pull attention away from Conwyn and Shino, but it does so enough that the rest of you guys do not need to make rolls to endure the flashing or make a roll to keep composure. Jackson Hargrim, you stick to Theo in uh, a bodyguard fashion. Theo, you do realize something. So Shino, as far as anybody is concerned, is a relatively high-profile student of Arcanics,
Mm-hmm.
and like recently involved with this hero stuff. Um, so she has she has a little bit of a profile. You know that you still have more of a profile, and you know that the two of you, the rest of your party, as much as you might like them, they kind of have the freedom to do whatever they want. You understand though that you and Shino are in a position where you are leaving a limousine in the company of a known member of the Boromar clan by blood, right? And Conwyn is not known to be a part of the organization necessarily, but there is weight to that. Is there anything that you want to suggest anybody else to do to either lean away or into that?
Um.
If there's paparazzi reporters, just make an offhanded statement about accepting a ride because of his councilwoman's sister's support in the investigation on the terrorists.
Yeah.
May give the impression that while the Boromar may be bad, they're still better when it comes to hunting terrorists.
Yeah. I think I'll do that. I'll make a statement of just like, uh, while we are leading the investigation, the terrorists are not just attacking one individual or one house; they're attacking all of Sharn, and that includes all of its inhabitants, including the Boromar, as well as the houses. And while they may not have the cleanest track record, they have the city's best interest in place, and sometimes it's good to lay down, uh, to to put things aside and enjoy the night for what it is, festivities and fun for everyone.
Jax has given you advantage on your persuasion roll.
Sweet. Ooh, I'm proficient.
Good thing too.
Okay. So you make a rather persuasive argument, or statement. You get the feeling that there's still going to be people who are going to call bullshit and people who are going to try and swing it. So maybe there's some damage control in your future, but it definitely could have been worse.
Yeah.
That is overall a success.
Now we can try to strong arm his sister for some actual support since it's already out there.
There are a group of reporters, and one of their voices cut through the cloud. Cut through. Do you have Navi with you?
Yes, I would need Navi for this.
So you hear the question, Conwyn Boromar. There's like this gnome who has like purple hair that's sort of like tied back into a man bun. He has these glasses and sort of a brown like leather French coat. Very, very like hard boiled, right? You haven't seen much gnomes with like stubble before, right? And like bags under his eyes. He looks like he might have more coffee than blood. Rosu Toto from the Durazai. And he looks like a little disgusted with himself as he like looks at his sketchbook and sighs, and he looks up at Shino, and then he puts on like this like professional smile, right? And holds out a like recording crystal. See, you're here with a new girlfriend. What can you tell us about her? And Conwyn sort of like puts up a hand in front of his eyes, and he's just like, she's just my guest. I am honored to have her accompany me, but girlfriend might be a bit strong. Still some hope for the ladies out there in Charnay, Mr. Eligible Bachelor. Well, and there's like a shriek from farther like down the rope, and there's like this like halfling who's like sobbing. Her mascara's running. She's like missing a heel. Conwyn, take me back, please! And like you see like these like three like Boromar toughs just like appear from the shadows and just like remove her. And Conwyn's like, sorry about that. We better get going. Is there anything that Shino would like to do?
Yeah, probably. I'll just have a moment with him and just being like, remember, body language is everything, and speak with confidence. If you say it like you mean it, then it must be true. And I'll just offer a hand or an arm for him to just take the lead. Like he's the man of the night. I'm just here to make him look better.
Right. I would like a performance check or persuasion check from Shino.
Performance is not 0, but persuasion is better.
You seem to lift his spirits, and he does like sort of like push out his chest a little bit and like square his shoulders. Thank you, Miss Mirasaki. And he gives you this smile, and you're sort of like taken aback, like, oh, this is like a handsome guy. Like he's got that sort of like rakish, and you saw it a little bit with his dad, right? Like, oh, you understand that girl that was whisked away. There is a part of this guy who is trouble.
Yeah. So with that, I'll even mention that girl too. I'm just like, it's not. I'm just here to make you look better, not that you already aren't. And then I'll mention that girl saying like, there's already broads coming after you right now, so I'm just setting the bar for them.
Well, that's
maybe, Oh, go on. Sorry, I was just gonna make a joking character.
You're setting a pretty high bar.
Well, a man of your stature needs to have standards.
And a step stool.
You know what? Um, should I just cast enlarge on him? I don't think that's a good idea. But
I played Baldur's Gate 3 and I've seen an enlarged halfling.
I don't think that's a good idea.
It doesn't quite stretch them out.
That was just a stray thought that crossed my mind and was like, well, now hold on.
But no, he, in personality, he's definitely seems to be, quite a bit taller. Sort of soothed his nerves a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Good. Very good, very good, very good.
Jax and Hargrim,
Mm-hmm.
your backgrounds inform you that there is a great deal of security. After you get past the checkpoint, though, they don't seem to be concerned for you, and a lot of them are hidden around the perimeter of the grounds. The two of you sort of like share a look. These are anti-cultist guys. Like whoever they are, whether they're mercenary or private sec, right? They are here to make sure that the cults do not do anything. There is a small army here, sort of blended into the crowd.
Well, at least we know if anything goes wrong, it's going to go very wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also, really lowers the chances of lightnings and purses, but you know, a party's a party, I guess.
Shabazz got his work cut out for him.
You are guided inside the house, and it is large. A palace, one could generously call it. There are more guests inside, and there's staff that guides you towards the ballroom where the very important guests have gathered, as well as the Lord Mayor. If you'd follow us, Mr. Boromar, and the guests.
Oh, he's so little.
He's just a little guy. Easily startled in some situations.
Oh, I see now. Okay. Whoa. Hey, there's a face I remember.
As the doors open, Conwyn, with his boosted spirits, will step inside.
And I will be right there. Oh,
This
there's also more faces I remember.
This ballroom is jam-packed
My goodness.
with a number of familiar and unfamiliar faces.
Ooh,
But it is to be assumed that they are all influential in one way or another.
Yeah, he is.
got the ear danes. That's cool.
There is a half-elven woman with silver hair, with a flute made of crystal, accompanied by a beautiful ceramic warforged with this like elaborate headpiece, who's playing the cello in accompaniment. And when the silver-haired woman is not playing her flute, she is singing, and she has a beautiful siren-like singing voice. Those of you who have lived in Charn for a while, you recognize both of these performers. The singer, her name is Palace. She is a professional musician, not a bard. She has specified, but a professional musician who is something of like a current like trendy musician. Karamakos, on the other hand, is something of an urban legend. She is a warforged who was designed to be entertainment at parties as well as security. And when Warforged gained sapience, she has maintained that path. Karamakos has a scary reputation. Or comforting, depending on who you are. But she is just as much entertainment as she is security. One can assume. At this central table, you see Lord Mayor Cathan Ir Demel and chatting with his guests, including but not limited to Commander Zalus Desjardins, whom your party had met the other day. He gave you guys basically free reign to conduct investigations as you please. And of course, you guys see Hadrian de Caneth. His presence here is not surprising. You also see his father, who is a infamously well-known face throughout the last few decades. Merix de Caneth, one of the three potential barons of House Caneth. So he's one of the three heads of the entire house. He is one of the most powerful and influential men in the world. He seems to be accompanied by a young woman who Theo, as a housie, you recognize as Dela de Caneth, who is a lesser-known member of the family but gaining steam. She is an adventurer. She did some work in the later years of the war, and has been, while she is still a member of the house, she has been sort of like towing that line, has been openly criticizing some of Candace's practices without outright leaving the house. There are a number of colorful characters. Sort of too many to really like go through. But most of these individuals you could Google, right, in real life and get some basic information on. That's Counselor Wheat. He's a giant owl. Jex, you also recognize Rokimi de Tharashk. She's the half-orc who has been trying to convince you to join House Tharashk. Though has, for obvious reasons, been backing off lately. You've been very busy.
True. I figured one of those would be here.
She sees you come in. She looks a little surprised, and then smiles, and then she waves, and then she like kind of gives you a look over, and then looks confused again, and then does like a hand gesture, like, "Have you lost weight?"
Bows deeply and gestures to the hair. Gets a haircut.
Oh, your class change.
And the last major the last major figure that Conwyn will point out is over at this like southern central table is Elira Boromar, Conwyn's older sister and counselor.
Mm.
Other than that, assume that there are more chairs around each of these tables. Feel free to ask people to dance if you really want. It is a ball, after all. There's a ballroom for that very purpose. Feel free to Google any of the names. You guys should see their names, right? You should see all the tokens' names.
There's a couple who don't, but yeah.
Oh, who doesn't? I thought I got all of them.
The Warforged doesn't. That guy now does. This handsome fellow, former adventurer in a past life, doesn't, and this one who now does. Spelled with an O? I thought it was a U.
Theo will absolutely point out Lord Eardane to Shino for sure.
Which one's that?
He is the de facto leader of New Sire.
Okay. Those are some big words.
Yeah.
So, Sire, as you might recall, is the nation that suffered the most during the morning. Its country wiped off the map and led you to lose
see.
your hero.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. I've always did it Siri.
Siri, oh.
Siri, Sire, whatever. It's blown up.
And I wasn't thinking the nation. I wasn't thinking the nation. I was thinking like sire, as in like, oh, this is like a lordship sire, and I'm just like, what?
Oh, yeah. No, this is like the guy who's leading the settlement of New Siri or Sire outside of the Moorlands and
Okay.
Yeah, there's a few there's a few like de facto leaders of Sire.
Yeah.
But Jiren definitely like is one of the most vocal proponents. He usually comes around Sharn, does these tours around the different countries, but like a lot in Breland, trying to drum up support for refugees and stuff. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I'm with you now.
Yeah. Theo's gonna go ahead and mingle a little bit with Vilroy.
Oh, Mr. Deorian.
It is a pleasure to see you, Sergeant.
You as well. She will like get up from her chair and she'll bow.
Oh, no need for formalities. We're all friends here. Well, most of us at least.
So there's a bunch of houses sitting at this table.
Mm-hmm.
In particular, a rather distinguished half elven man with this little like reptilian creature on his shoulder, and like a long cloak. Looks towards you. He's a bit taller than you, Theo. And he will say, "You must be Master Theodosius. I don't believe we've had the pleasure."
No, we haven't. It is nice to meet you as well.
Dantien de Lerender.
I've heard a lot about your house recently.
Most of it unfortunate, I'm sure. My condolences to your family as well.
Much appreciated.
I have heard that you personally are taking measures to avenge the dragon-marked houses.
You are correct in that assumption. We are actively tracking and bringing tracking the individuals directly responsible for the attacks on Sharn and bringing them their rightful justice.
This is good to hear. House Orion's position on the ground and our position in the sky and on the sea have long made us rivals. But from these respective positions, I can see that we are both placed well to assist the people in this trying time. If you want, you can make a history check to know what the fuck he's talking about.
Michael knows what he's talking about.
Oh well, if you know what,
Yeah,
player can make a guess on Theo's behalf for sure.
I'm assuming he's talking about them taking over air transportation.
Yes, and it seems you seem to recall something about Lyrander under Dantian's leadership, that they have been working on evacuating people, especially since like the latest attack
Yeah.
with the title.
Well, given your assistance to the city, we have greatly reduced the casualties. So I appreciate the resources that you've contributed thus far.
Likewise. And if you do me a personal favor, the next time you see your cousin, if you would please pass on my well wishes to he and his family.
Certainly.
Will you be joining us at our table?
Oh, who's that? We got Jarasco, Lorandir, Vidalis. You know what? Yes. Yes, I will. I'll go ahead and sit myself between Vilroy and Lyrander.
Lyrander will make sure you have some room. He's very accommodating. Vilroy kind of has this look on his face, like, "Is this a good idea?" And Rokimi has a look on her face that Jax, you identify as like she's thinking, "Is this a good idea?" You do find yourself sitting across from this devastatingly handsome,
Yeah, yes.
very very buff, like 6'2", big tittied,
Yeah, yes.
well dressed, hobgoblin fellow, who seems vaguely familiar to you.
Hmm.
Anyone can choose to know whether or not, depending on their own interest. This is Lars Hallstrom, for anyone who cares to know. He is a rather famous or infamous, depending on your definition, male model who has had a tremendous career modeling for like the covers of these like Harlequin, sometimes erotic romance novels by the acclaimed author Rial Human.
Oh.
Hey, you're the granny smut guy.
Yo, that's me. What's up, buddy?
Not much. But if Rokimi thinks this is a bad decision, I am planning on asking Hadrian to dance later, so we'll see how this really goes.
I don't know who Hadrian is, but dope.
He's the only one here slightly cuter than you.
Slightly cuter than me.
eyeball. I like glare at Jax like you did not just insult this man.
Right. If we want to make things worse, I'm gonna make things worse.
Lars is gonna start like he takes out this little pocket mirror and he starts like checking his teeth. Like, how'd I get to number 2? We can puzzle this out, buddy. You and me. Like, see his like own reflection.
It's just the bigger than me thing, you know. Have to have some strength in the relationship.
Oh no, these are all glam muscles, my man. Weak as a kitten. This is true. I've seen a sheep.
Yes,
He has a strength of 8.
8? Oh my god.
yes, he does.
Yeah, he has 16 constitution, but he has a strength of 8. He's a bard.
Oh my god.
Beautiful.
That's too funny.
All right, I'm gonna make things worse for. How do I? Oh,
If you hold down Alt, yeah.
I was holding down Control. I'm like, I know one of those works. All right, I'm gonna make things worse, and I'm gonna run over. Well, it's not really run over, but hastily walk over to Lars and just be like, "Oh, Mr. Lars, I love your calendars. The month of June especially is my favorite."
Oh, always great to meet a fan. Hey, your skin routine is baller, babe. What are you doing?
Oh, you know, it's just natural herbs and medicines.
Well, tell you what. What's your name? We can get to. I would love a list of those 11 herbs and spices.
Well,
Get me chicken. Get me finger looking good too.
and I'd love to join your Church of Gangs.
You heard about it.
I have.
So the Church of Gains is my personal philosophy about leading a healthy life through a healthy, active lifestyle. And so this is Brogo Davalis. He's like, he's not the head of the enclave of House Vidalis, the Beastmasters in Sharn, but he is a master Beastmaster. So he's like around like second in command, and he's just like he's an older guy. He has his face in his palm as Lars is just going off. And it is midnight. I thought we'd get here sooner than we did. But we are at game. I know that Shabazz Mud is still struggling to keep awake. So I am going to leave the game on this page so you guys can get a look at some of these names. Some of these names will not come up with the Google search, but most of them will. So when you can, like, kind of like give them a look, because like most of that stuff is going to be player common knowledge. So for those of you who have schemes to like maybe run some cons or develop some contacts or figure, hey, some of these people might know what we're talking about. The only character that I ask you not to Google, right, is Nervareem, because that defeats the purpose of this entire encounter. And you might encounter some things that'll be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have checked that out. But you know, if they have like a counselor beside any of their names, or it's like Elira, or they have like a last name pertaining to like a dragon marked house, go ahead and go nuts. They are here to give you guys more, because we haven't spent a lot of time in Sharn, right? Did a lot of dungeon crawling. I want to spend some time with Sharn. It's kind of how it works. When we come back, though, next week, we are going to be doing. We're going to be playing Hirelings for the next 3 sessions because Kat is going to be away. We'll be doing Hirelings, so as far as like mechanics and stuff to go, keep that in mind. And then when Kat is back from vacation, we will continue from here, and you know, we'll do the schmoozing and politicking, and do some social combat stuff. Maybe some actual combat stuff, but I hope not too much. This should be a non-combat encounter, but I can never know with you rascals. Beyond that, though,
Just
I'll be.
consider our wizards. It could be one of the sweetest lightning bolts ever.
It could be one of the sweetest lightning bolts left.
Fireball, motherfucker.
Yeah,
If
fireball.
all of the wizards, and spellcasters in this room fail their counterspell check, I will personally be disappointed in myself.
Counterspells, the counterspells, the counterspells, the counterspell.
We only have so many counter spells on our.
Yeah, but there might be people in there who are counterspell the counterspells, and then it might happen. You never know.
Well, I think our better chances would be 6th level and above.
They call that an Arcanics rudder. Right. So, thanks for playing, everybody. When we get back again, that is going to be our hirelings. We are in the middle of a combat, so we'll be continuing with that combat. It has been a hot minute, so I think the best thing to do is for everybody to re-roll initiative. When we do that, you guys are on a pirate vessel about to bully a changeling.
Oh.
Not your changeling. A bad changeling. You're coming after Jas.
I stand corrected.
I have no alliance.
I will have a session back before you go on break.
Will it be this game or Kingmaker?
Both. Because you take the 16th, June 16th, you're taking off.
Correct.
So I'll have the week before then, will be the week I'm back fully. So I'll be there for that, and then we go on break.
Very good.
I thought I was going to miss that.
By the way, this is at this table, this is the tiefling that my buddy Mish played. This is her cameo. She is wearing the dress in that. It wasn't just me sharing cool art of my friend's character. It's relevant to the plot. That's how she looks at this party.
Right.
And that's the sexy tiefling we have to coerce.
No, we need a sexy drow.
Drow.
The plot, yes.
Yes.
That said, though, do we have any questions, comments, concerns, anything of that nature before we break off for tonight?
Don't have too much fun, boys, and don't do anything I would do.
That doesn't narrow it down at all.
Right?
That's-
So
that's
seduce
the point.
everyone and have big
Yeah.
titties. All right.
Yeah, you're the one that's going to a foreign country. You keep all that shit in mind.
Yeah. Well, if I need bail money, I'm not calling any of you.
I appreciate it.
I wouldn't answer anyway, so.
I'd probably answer, but I'd say no.
Think of it as a learning experience.
You guys agree.
I don't know if you need some entertainment while you're flying over there. Why don't you catch up on some Locked Up Abroad?
90-Day Fiance, maybe.
You guys are great. I gotta feed myself. So I will talk to you guys next week, with the exception of Kat. I'll see you in a couple weeks. Enjoy your trip, and I hope you all have a good night.
Thank you.
Good, everyone.
Right.
Good night.